That's really good. Broadcast is live. Namaste. Happy Sunday in the West. Happy Monday in the East. This is Fitness Works Around the World check-in, our first ever putting together from having released our PSA, our public service announcement, announcing on Instagram, announcing YouTube, announcing Facebook, and right here for each and every one of you to come on, whether you are a fitness practitioner or whether you're a fitness professional. I'm excited for tonight you to come on and check in with some of the countries around the world, from Europe, various countries, United States, and we're going to be checking in with Canada. We're going to be checking in with Mexico. We're going to be checking in with different countries in Asia as well, already on their Monday morning. So there's no happy hour for them. I have a lineup of special guests and panelists to check in pretty much with the same questions for each and every one of them. I would like to tell you that I am Lawrence, and if you ever want to find Lawrence, looks like you were able to right now, and you could find Lawrence right here. I will bring my biscuit a little bit later into the show, just because it's always nice if someone's holding a puppy, because the only sentient beings right now that we have domesticated around the world that are not able to contract some virus is the cat and the dog population. Biscuit, hello. I am safe and sound in Puerto Rico, for those of you who have been emailing me and asking, and I really appreciate that. Many of you have been asking about my mom, and I'm very, very happy to say that mom is safe and healthy and happy at 87 with her 90-year-old husband in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Thank you for asking about that. And many of you know that the charity I support, or my charity of choice or social good, is the Sisters of St. Joseph in Philadelphia, and they are well. They are sequestered, and their staff is almost having to stay with them because they're pretty high-risk people. They're about 9 or 10 floors to the villa where they are, and they are all fine and healthy, if a little bit bored. So I have been actually shooting some material and getting it to them for their closed circuit TV. We're doing meditation Mondays, and we're doing Tai Chi Tuesdays, and movement Mondays as well. And then we're doing thumbs and thighs Thursdays, trying to come up with those THs and different kinds of alliteration for days of the week. So that's what I've been doing by recording lots of material for my nuns. They are fine, no cases, thank God, at the villa where they are retiring. Not only the 6 nuns who are still alive, or the 6 sisters who are still alive who taught me years ago, but so many more. I am going to tell you happy birthday if you are Tonya and you are listening, and if you are Mighty from Puerto Rico and you are listening. Very special people have birthdays today, and I have sent you separately. Thank you very much for listening. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the catalyst for all of this tonight and tomorrow morning, and this morning. For those of you in Asia, it is morning, it is evening. We are timeless in our human connection as Fitness Works, and Fitness Works, but not for free, right? I'm so excited to be listening to other people talking about how long do I keep sweating, and how long do I keep teaching, and how long do I keep doing what I'm doing for free? And I'm not sure we need to do that for free. I'm getting lots of emails for the past couple of weeks from instructors and personal trainers who have lost their jobs. We're such a hugely impacted community. We are very, very impacted, and I'm not sure that all of us are going to be bailed out by any government's plan in any country. And after getting these emails from so many people saying, how do I buy my groceries? Not what's next, not what is the next best thing, not what is my sweat equity, not how do I reinvent myself, maybe temporarily for going social, but no long year plan. But instructors and personal trainers who are telling me that they've lost their work. And I understand that. Clubs that are saying we're closed, clubs that are saying keep teaching and training, clubs that are saying remember your clients are ours and not to do that. There's so much going on that I don't get involved in. I just want to make sure everyone has enough money to eat right now. And that's why so many of my colleagues around the world said yes to putting together a PSA or a public service announcement because my only care now is that instructors and trainers know, however you look for your next class, your next session, your next client, it's okay to ask for money because no one's going to a chiropractor or a dental office or a one-on-one veterinary interaction right now or going to a grocery store that's open for any population for free. We can't have a mission without a margin. Thank you, Shannon Fable, for that. It's important to know that we work for we work for a cause, and our cause is our groceries and maybe our children and maybe our livelihood. It's one thing to be greedy, but it's another thing just to make a living. I learned a long time ago that pigs eat, but hogs get slaughtered. So there's a difference between asking a fair wage and being greedy. There's a huge difference between your worth and your value. And I'd like to say that I want to thank all of the international community who said yes to being on camera for a PSA or a public service announcement, starting with flooding in the people that said yes. Nel mio paese, in Italia, where there's so much suffering in Italy, and so many people are not only out of work, but out of some families, and intensive cares are just hugely overpopulated and trying to accommodate people in nearby towns when things aren't okay. So our hearts go out to all of us all over the world where we first said we send our love and light to China. Now we're sending our love and light within our own household, and so therefore we're building community. And thank you for those of you who have watched our PSA and shared our PSA. Whether you're a fitness practitioner, it's important to know that you need to just ask, how are you doing, to all the people whose services you've been using in fitness and wellness, right? And if you're a fitness professional, it's okay to reach out and say, let's keep this going, but I got to buy some groceries as well. And it's so okay to ask for a love offering. I will tell you that I watched 1 week ago tonight the Rosie O'Donnell online telethon for YouTube Live, for the theater community around the world, primarily based in the United States and Canada, for completely dark Broadway, completely out of work show people. And I thought, what could I do? And I heard of Chef Thomas Keller organizing this huge worldwide organization to get everyone in restaurants out of work ideas for staying employed through takeout and lobbying to get takeout now able to include alcohol in the United States and keeping makeshift measures for the next right thing, to quote AA or to quote Frozen #2. What is the next right thing? Sometimes we can't think about how will this impact me in 2 years, although it's great to think, what is my plan of business for 2 years? Now I just want to make sure that my emails from people asking, how do I pay my bills, go less and less. The fear, because I want instructors to know that for all the goods and services you're putting online, you're supporting the portals of your companies asking you to go home and paying you to give services, great. Or clothing clubs saying you're on your own. What do? Continue to post your work, but not for free because hashtag fitness works. So after Rosie and after Rosie O'Donnell and the theater committee of the world, and then I've seen Thomas Keller and the chefs of the world, and then I saw the drag queens around the world, spurred on in no small part by RuPaul. They are in drag. They're all over the world. There's now online bingo where you buy your cards. The money goes to support the drag queens and their art and levity and light. You can win prizes. And so many countries around the world are doing this for drag queens. Vets have started. Vets around the world, Vets Without Borders. They've lobbied their governments and allowed them to be seen as legal institutions where we can actually open just with certain distancing, with no more than 2 technicians or a vet, an assistant, and then 1 client, and then a pet at a time. I think that's all wonderful. And I said, what are we going to do for our fitness community? I don't have answers. I don't want to get involved in funds and a nonprofit. Banks are hardly working. I can't even think about funding and boarding, putting up a board for a nonprofit now. And I don't want the responsibility of deciding who's meritorious enough in which countries to get grocery money. I just want to say what I think that all our fitness community agrees on. you're not going to continue to work for free. It's okay to ask for some love offering. And if people can give you 25 cents and they're taking your classes 3 times a day and a dollar and 5 and 10, how wonderful that you just put out there. This is a wonderful work of love that you've come to take. They're the people that know you and love you anyway. They're watching your services online and know hashtag, thank you, Linda Shelton, fitness works. And it's such a beautiful conceived hashtag because fitness works has so many levels. For example, fitness works for health and wellness and overall joy, right? Fitness works, fitness is not free. It's not called fitness sacrifices. It's not called fitness sacrifice. It's not called fitness labor of love. It's called fitness works. What we do at fitness is really something that empowers the world, but what we do in fitness also is something that pays our bills like another ethical, legal, and respectable profession. I don't see a lot going on what's going on or taking advantage of just free. As I've heard so many other speakers in the world, people know what's of value and people don't always value what is just free. So thank you for supporting our PSA. For those of you who haven't seen it, we're going to run it in just a moment. And remember, our hashtag is hashtag fitness works because you can post that, you can tag, you can use it when you're doing whatever you're doing in classes. So when I have on Instagram and on Facebook and on my Google searches and on my YouTube links, hashtag pull up every time there is a fitness works post, I will see the work you're doing and we'll stay connected. We always want to know if you know someone who is very much financially struggling, let us know. We can't promise anything. We've set up an email, which you'll see periodically throughout this whole broadcast. You'll see it streaming, you'll see it as a bubble, you'll see it as a graphic, and it's fitnessworks at findlawrence.com. Fitnessworks, FITNESS works. It's our hashtag without a hashtag, fitnessworks at findlawrence.com. And you'll be able to let us know the things that we need to know around the world. We're not a fund, we're not a nonprofit, but we can definitely help get out messages of love and light from our community because, as Jen Miller so graciously offered to shoot for us, you're not alone. Hashtag, you're not alone. Hashtag, we're not alone. There is no you in our fitness community without an I, and there is no I without a you, and together it becomes a we. And that's important as we move together as a fitness community around the world. Hashtag fitness works. Welcome for all of you who are joining us exactly on an hour. I'm honored that you're part of us. Thank you for coming to our little pre-show. Thank you for joining. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for staying connected. Thank you for liking this page. Thank you for knowing that our hashtag is fitness works. And thank you for those of you who have not only watched our fitness PSA, but have actually promoted our PSA. A little crystal infused water to try to be crystal clear in my thoughts. Namaste. I'm super emotional. It is in the West Sunday night, and it is in the East Monday morning. So many of you are staying up late. Some of you are logging on. Some of you are leery eyed. We are going to stay live on Instagram for just about 10 more minutes. And for those of you watching on Facebook or YouTube Live or any other means, thank you so much for joining us. We are here to talk about Fitness Works, interviewing a check-in on several continents and countries, just a little meter or litmus test of some fitness celebrities around the world whom I admire. And I admire so much that if you trust me, I'm not going to be reading bios tonight. I'm going to be doing introductions of our friends in fitness in a lot of different ways. Please pay attention to what I invite you to remember. Any questions or comments that really need to be worked on, that you want all of us in the PSA to be aware of, questions, concerns, comments, funds in different countries, let us know about them, not only here on our Facebook live chat, but please make sure you remember this email, which is fitnessworks at findlawrence.com. Fitnessworks at findlawrence.com, and you'll see that periodically throughout this evening. For those of you that have not watched our PSA, I am going to invite us now to check in with Noel. Noel Chalaya is the angel of the wings of this evening's performance, program, interview, check-in, techno wizard, and humanitarian as well. Noelle, can I invite you to come on set with us all the way from Malaysia? Your gym, can you tell us the name of your gym, please?
Hi, Lawrence. Thank you for having me. And the name of my gym is Daily Muscle, but we called it the Daily Muscle Lighthouse because we just didn't want to call it a gym.
Right. And a lighthouse is something that gives light to people. And I think instead of calling it a gym, you are sort of, your hashtag used to be the gym for people who don't like gyms. My Sunday night, your Monday morning, this guy, Noel, is the first one to say, yes, count me in. That's all he said. And then we worked on details. And I said, could you please techno this idea that is not too different from what Rosie O'Donnell did for the theater community? The only difference is we're not going to be asking people to send in money. We're asking you to just listen, check in with what's going on in our countries, and make your decisions. Every practitioner of fitness is taking advantage of services. So make some donation where you think it's most important. And every professional is also taking advantage of online and reinventing ourselves. And that's also not for free. Noel, can you please play our PSA so that everyone can listen to what we've put out there, so we can share and comment on that? And you can get rid of me too. Thank you. Hello, I'm Lawrence Viscontini, and I invite you to listen very carefully to this public service announcement that fitness professionals all over the world have prepared for you, uniting you with our fitness and wellness international community.
You are not alone.
Мы, международное сообщество фитнеса, continue to invent new ways to stay socially connected in these times of physical distancing.
Siamo tutti insieme in questa situazione. Now more than ever, we're using social media to stay connected socially, even though physically distanced.
Let's stay strong as a community so that when we come out of this, we're as fit as we are now as when we gather again in person, because #fitness works.
If you are a fitness consumer taking sessions or classes from your instructors and personal trainers continuing to offer seamless services to you, here's what you can do to be sure that their income can be just as seamless.
Consider asking your personal trainers and teachers if they're getting compensated at their regular place of employment for the services you're enjoying online. Making some sort of a love offering to them can make all the difference between their livelihood during these challenging times.
While it's easy to see our services online, what's not so easy to see is our complete income stoppage in many cases.
PayPal, Apple Pay, Venmo, and gift cards are ways to offer contributions towards their day-to-day expenses as you continue to use your services. Sepa que ninguna donación es demasiado pequeña o insultante, because even $1 per person in any class could make the difference between them getting their groceries or not.
If you're a fitness professional, support the initiatives like forums that your clubs will have in place for your services at this time. Remember that your profession survives on giving its goods and its services for free. And there is no shame in setting a fee for the service that you provide and one that your client clearly sees benefit from. Because every mission needs to make a margin.
Considera hacerlo súper fácil, es súper atractivo, como una razón de peso importante para que tus participantes puedan hacer pequeñas contribuciones al trabajo que estás ofreciéndoles en línea. Like a PayPal me link right on your text as you go live, or telling them that you are on Patreon, Apple Pay, or Venmo.
If you know of any struggling fitness professionals, reach out to the rest of your fitness community to support.
Qualsiasi professionista del fitness in questo momento potrebbe avere delle difficoltà.
consider to reach out our fitness industry to support him or her.
Although some governments are making relief efforts, not all independent contractors in all professions, in all countries throughout the world, will automatically become part of any financial aid at all. So, we can make the difference.
We all know the importance of physical distancing, not out of fear, but out of love, and out of care and concern for others. But it's just as important that we commit to socially connecting. So we invite you to use the hashtag FitnessWorks so we can all stay connected and see all the good work being done out there as we look to literally love the world together.
This virus does not know pride. And now at this time where we sometimes ask for miracles, we can be a miracle for somebody else. Together, we can be sure that fitness works.
You are not alone.
คุณไม่ได้อยู่โดยลำพังเพียงคนเดียว
Tú no sei solo.
No están solos en todo esto.
คุณไม่ได้อยู่โดยเพียงลำพัง
Tutto andrà bene.
I would like to give a big shout out to all of the humanitarian fitness professionals around the world who agreed to be a part of this, because it was super important to me. And if you think this is going to be a litany of the people that Lawrence loves, this is a litany of the people that love our world and our profession and who care and who are there for so much more than their paycheck. You have to trust me. There are beautiful, caring people on this planet. They care about you and what's going on in your country, and we're going to do our country check-in. But before we do, I have to explain that Fitness Works is our hashtag because it means so many levels of our job. I have to say that so many professions are doing what they can to come together. The dry cleaning industry, the medical industry, the theater industry, the restaurant industry, and this is our effort at just telling people to stay connected because you're not alone. Thank you, Yuri Rocket from Belarus and New York, Jeff Howard in Kentucky, all over the SCW circuit, Manuel Velasquez from Puerto Rico, stuck or not stuck, but living now in Mexico with our prayers until borders are open. Janine Mongardini in Ecuador, thank you for being part of this and saying yes to being bilingual from the beginning. Sorry, here in Puerto Rico, thank you very much for being not only our bilingual goddess, but full of energy and the second person of everything to say yes. Luciano in Italy, we thank you. We send our hearts to all of our fitness community in Italy. I was speaking with Mimi Adami earlier today about the situation there. Noel, of course, you're here. You're the shoulders on which I stand on so many occasions, part of Team Lawrence and Team Biscuit. Stacy McCarthy, a humanitarian in yoga and wellness and love on our planet, and we'll be hearing from her this evening. Angela Jenkins in Australia, who is the first person I ever heard use the word epigenetics and teaches that. If you don't know it, Google it later. She's a brilliant humanitarian and mover, and her story with her website is very detailed, and we'll be having her speak to us at some point in our future as well. Serafino Ambrosio from Rome, who was also very much on board in the beginning, affected in no small way by what we've been doing. He said, yes. Carol Scott, the conceiver and the CEO and the brain body behind ECA World Fitness, where so many of us played in fitness on Broadway for so many years, said yes and recorded so many things for us. Jen Miller, who was shooting, who stopped her shooting to say, yes, I'll record for your PSA. Benjamin, thank you so much in Australia for jumping on and speaking to so many personal trainers that follow you, so many fitness humanitarians that follow you, and being so heartfelt. Thank you very much, Jimmy Yoga in Thailand, to coming on and sending us your PSA with BOM as well in Thai language. Mark Fisher of Mark Fisher Fitness. When I met you, I knew that was a unicorn horn that I felt very deep in my heart. And like so many things of so many people grow when they see you. I knew that you were smart, and I knew that you were sexy, and I knew that you were successful. I didn't know that you had such a heart to grow onto the projects that are as big as they are worldwide. Everyone is affected. Josie Gardner of our Reebok days, humanitarian, the most quintessential definition of anyone I know in our industry who is irreverent and simultaneously uber professional. How many people can you say that are irreverent? They might not follow protocol because they care what they think. If there's no emperor clothes, they'll say, where are the clothes on that emperor? But at the same time, uber professional. You don't find that a lot. People who are not reverent are usually not professional. It's really something that I admire so much in Josie. And now with all her years, she's just the goddess with Joy Prouty at Zumba. And we revere her and all her work there. Thank you very much, Josie. Steve Feinberg, a consummate professional in New York. You've never said no to a single project. I saw you and I met you with your balls one day, and the rest is history. Steve Feinberg is the founder and conceiver and president of CEO of Speedball Fitness, and is online and is our litmus test and our meter of what's going on sort of at the epicenter of so many things, always, and yes, these days, New York City. And we'll be checking in with Steve in a while. And I thank you, all of the names I have called out and all of the people who contributed to our PSA. Please help us share our PSA. We're not making this political. We're just saying that no one works for free. Fitness works. People are continuing. We're being very resourceful. So many clubs are great at saying, here's our portal, stream your classes, your stream of income will continue, and it will be seamless. Some are not so lucky. I have to say the emails and messages and texts that I get were what spurred on me contacting so many people around the world saying, what can we do? So therefore, I say thank you to each and every one of those. We're going to start and check in with California. And when we check in with California, I will be showing you the formula that I'll be using for each guest. I'm not going to read a bio, as I mentioned before. I'm going to tell you 3 things that I can tell you about why I've asked someone if we could interview, the little behind the scenes knowledge, if you will, why you're on my list of favorite people in the world, why at a dinner party I surround myself by people who are smarter than I, you're going to be there, and how we can find you on social media will be telling everyone, but that's behind the scenes. I want to tell you things that not everybody might know, and then we're going to ask, what is your favorite junk food or snack, favorite song, and then I have a list of questions to ask as we go around the world. We're going to stop now Instagram. Sure, that's that. That was a little free show on Instagram. Thank you very much for watching on Instagram. I'm going to move away this now because we don't need that anymore. And I'm going to wait for us to have our first guest ready and lined up. I'm not going to tell you who that is because, you know, in live TV, things can change at the last minute. I'm going to look for our first guest. I'm going to say that maybe we're ready to go to, my phone is, thank you. Maybe we're ready to go to Singapore. I'm not sure, but I would love to check in with Singapore if you think we're ready with Singapore. Are we ready for Singapore? Can I ask you, Noel? Almost ready for Singapore. Wonderful. I think Singapore is going to be our first guest. Singapore is all the way from the east, and that makes a lot of people who are fearful might shudder. But I think it's important that if we're going to do an around the world check-in and do a sort of a fitness emotional meter, and there's fitness and there's emotion, that we sort of start in Asia. I think it's kind of fitting, and then we'll go a couple places. I'm going to share screen and we'll do a little back and forth. And my first guest is from Singapore. That's all I'm going to tell you as we get our first guest on, as we experience a live show with going around the world, not all in the same time zone. Welcome, Jonathan Go. Can we hear you, Jonathan?
Hi, good
Great.
morning,
Let me tell you
Lawrence.
good morning to you. 3 things I know about Jonathan. He is the current winner of Fitness Idol of Asia, Asia Fit, and Asia Fitness Convention in Bangkok. Number 2, he is a family man in Singapore. And number 3, he's created his own interval Tabata-like program, which is pretty interesting. And it's very timed-based, and it's going around the world on an Asian tour, temporarily on hold, but soon to continue taking the world by storm. Jonathan, thank you for joining us. I appreciate that. Can you tell us now, so we can get that in our scrolling text, how do we best find you? Do you prefer Instagram or Facebook or both?
Wow, Facebook or Instagram is good for me. So my Instagram handle is John Go Fit Pro, JONGOHFITPRO. Well, in terms of Facebook,
John
just
Go
search for
Fit Pro on
Jonathan Go.
Instagram. Thank you for joining us. Can you tell us, on a stressful day or whenever you're eating junk food, what's one thing you love to eat that's a snack that might not be on a nutritionist vegan list at the country market?
KFC.
Great, KFC, which stands for Kentucky Fried Chicken. I think that's pretty universal. And can you tell us one of your favorite songs?
My favorite song, there are actually many. Can't think of any right now because I just have many of them.
Okay, that's absolutely cool. It might come up while we're going. As we're going to check in around the world, the first thing I'm going to tell us where you're actually logging in from. What part of your house or facility, and city and country.
Okay. Currently, right now, I'm actually in my living room in Singapore, and this is just a small little corner that I usually work out in.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Tell us, where you are in Singapore, is there any kind of curfew? Talk to us about what people are asked to do on a daily basis, day and night.
Okay, basically it's quite standard. We don't have any day or night different restrictions. Is one of the first thing is when you are in say for example in the shopping mall, you are supposed to give yourself a 16 square meter of space. That probably is about 160 square feet of space between each other. And if you're queuing, you have to be about 1 meter away, which is approximately about 3 feet away from each other if you're queuing for food or paying for groceries. That's number one. All activities, great outdoors gathering, nothing more than 10 people. And if the other thing would be any concerts, cinemas are closed, all the entertainment venues are closed, bars are closed, clubs are closed. Nobody goes there anymore. So that is the restrictions right now that we're having.
Okay, what about in general, your clubs? Fitness clubs are closed.
Majority of the big chain fitness clubs are closed.
Okay, but the government hasn't put any curfew in effect.
No, it's just that they put all those restrictions, and that's what the reason why some of the big chain gyms, like the gym that I work for, they decided to close it because of the restrictions that put in place.
Okay, can you tell me, next question, what does your typical day look like now, if there is such a thing? Have you found some kind of a routine, and what are you following?
Well, basically, for me personally, in the morning, like typically about this time now, I'll be doing a bit of stretching, breathing exercise, meditating a little bit. And then after that, I'll go on to my online e-learning portal. There are a few A certificates that I actually signed up for. It's online learning, but I haven't got the chance to do it because I was so busy with the daily work. So right now, since my club is closed for 1 month, I have the time to do that right now. And then the rest of the day just go along with it.
Okay, and your family's there with you? Are you all staying together at home?
Yes, we are, but so far we don't have a complete lockdown. So my wife is still going out to work. My daughter is still going to school. So yeah.
Okay, so Singapore doesn't seem to have a huge fear and a complete lockdown, as you just said, no lockdown, even though it's geographically so much closer to China, for example, than New York with so many cases. Not so much fear.
Yes, correct. Well, there is a lot of fear. It's just that we don't go for a full lockdown per se. That's why a lot of places, the government come up with a lot of restrictions and guidelines.
Okay, and can you tell us a little bit, if we're going to look at the meter of fitness in general, how is it redefining itself in your country right now? Lots of online classes, PTs taking their stuff online. Some clubs are still staying open. You can meet with your clients in the parks. What's going on in fitness in general?
But I think basically like what you just mentioned, a lot of the group fitness instructors, they have been conducting online classes. You know, everybody logging into some online platform. They get to see each other. They do the class together. And some of my freelance PT colleagues that I know of, they are doing the exercise instead in the gym setting. They bring it to the outdoor. And yeah, everybody is getting a bit creative in that sense, just trying to survive, you know, just to keep the income coming for them.
Sure. And as far as online, you're also taking some time to study. Did I hear you say that? Some A certificates and CECs and things like that?
For me personally, yes. I think a lot of my other colleagues are doing the same thing as well. They are actually
great
doing that just to keep ourselves occupied.
Sure. And there's tons of stuff going on TV in general?
Well, TV channels still as per normal. Just the online platform that's just, I get a lot of invitations saying that, oh, I'm doing this class, you will have to join, and you know, so things like that.
Wonderful. Okay, tell me this. Do you have any embarrassing or funny story? I've asked some of our guests to prepare that has nothing to do with worldwide events right now, that just might take us out of ourselves for a moment.
Well, okay. I remember this one particular incident when I was still learning to be a body pump instructor. So I was shadowing, or rather team teaching with my mentor then. But by that time, I'm supposed to be able to take a full class, but I was just team teaching with him. For some reason, I totally forgot the choreography. For some strange reason, I have no idea. Totally forgot the choreography, and on the spot, I had to come up with my own choreography, and I can see the look on all the members or the participants' faces like, what is this guy doing? Seriously, that was in the warm-up track, just the warm-up track. And I can't even go to the second track. I feel so embarrassed. I told my mentor, I said, I'm sorry, I need to leave. I need to excuse myself.
Wow. But now that's so not you, because you're on stage all the time and you're taking your program throughout Asia. So good for you. But thank you for sharing that story with us. I go blank like that every single day. I go blank when it's time to introduce my next guest. Not really, but thank you. I do go blank all the time. Thank you very much for your time. I wish you a wonderful week. Thank you for joining us on this Monday, and we'll continue to be on Voxer. Thank you very much for your time, Jonathan. We will find you and follow you. Your link's been going, and we will find you on your Instagram and on Facebook. It'd be a great thing to say maybe what your other program is so people can follow that as well.
Yep. Well, at least at this moment, for the next few weeks since I have a bit more time, just right now I see a lot of people is doing a lot of sharing a lot of home workout exercises. I decided not to go with the trend, which is not my style. So I'm doing actually recovery exercises, teaching people how to do stretching, how to do breathing exercise, how to do meditation. So stay tuned, and over the next few days or weeks, I'll be pushing all those content out on my Instagram.
I love the word recovery going on around the world now, because now that we're in, we can actually work in, and there's lots to be said about that. And what I love about that is you could get more people, because it's not attack, which we associate with your new program now, which is so high intensity. If you're going to call it recovery exercises, think about if you call it recovery movements, you'll get even more people in who don't even think about exercise. Oh, I don't want to do exercise. Recovery movement, some shoulder rolls, and all of a sudden you got the grandmas and grandpas, and now, wow, even more population. Good for you. Always leading, never following. Jonathan Go from Singapore, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Bye.
I'm going to introduce my next guest. We're going from Singapore all the way to Italy, and I have 3 things to say about our next guest, Serafino Ambrosio. Number 1, as a humanitarian and an intellectual, there would be No Pilates as we know it today, and a professional and credentialed organization like Polestar and beyond would it not be for Serafino Ambrosio. Number 2, he is not from Italy, but speaks perfect Italian, better than the Italians. And number 3, as a boss, because he has employed my services, even though I do not possess his particular Pilates certification, over several times. Maybe because people save a lot of money when I work in Italy because I don't need a translator. Mi faccio capire, which means I don't speak perfect Italian, but I don't speak perfect English either. I've read The Perfection Detox, and I'm not worried about being perfect because no existe. It doesn't exist. Serafino, can we bring you on, please? We're going to Italy. Hi!
Hey,
Wow,
ciao.
thank you for staying up past midnight, Serafino.
Yes,
Love
it's
the
1
hack.
o'clock
Thank
here.
you.
It's
Come
1 a.m.
stai?
It's 1:30 now.
I know, what happened? Anyway, no worries. You're okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
I love your shirt. It's so beautiful. It's so bright. How much caffeine did you have, and when did you last have it to stay this awake?
No, I only have caffeine in the morning.
Yeah, but in Italy, espresso all the time. Can you go into any bar now and buy
No,
espresso
all
with it,
bars are
or
closed. We're in total lockdown here.
I understand. All right, we'll get there in a second. Tell me, please, your favorite junk food when it's not something you're going to be selling or serving or letting your Pilates
Okay,
people watch you
pizza.
eat.
Pizza.
A what? Pizza.
Pizza.
Of course. Wonderful. And number 2, can you tell us one of your favorite songs in the whole world?
I Will Survive.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you very much. I've already introduced you as a humanitarian. I don't know if you could have heard that. Tell us where you are coming in from and what if there's a curfew where you are, and explain what lockdown means where you are. Can you do that for us, please?
So I'm currently in Rome, Italy, and we've been in a total lockdown for nearly 3 weeks now. We've got 1 more week to go. What's a total lockdown is that no one can leave the house. You can't. The only reasons that can only leave the house is for one person has to go shopping, or if you have to go to the pharmacy, or if you have to go to the doctors. All other cases, you get fined.
Okay.
Mm.
And everything is taking place at home now. Vets are probably open, and medical communities, and that's it, right?
Yeah, that's the only thing open.
And
only supermarket shops or food shops are open, so you can still go shopping for food one at a time, and pharmacies and doctors are open.
Okay, can you tell us, before we talk about work and how the fitness is evolving and changing and managing in Italia, what you are doing now? What's your typical new normal, as everyone refers to, day right now?
Well, I
Besides
wake
staying
up
up till 1 a.m. for us. Thank you.
well, I go to bed around about 1 a.m. anyway. I actually work out in the morning by myself, and I do my own exercise to keep my own sanity here. And then I meditate, and then I work on the computer just replying emails, and then I study. Like I think Jonathan said before, we're all taking this time to self-study. So I've got so many books that I've bought over these past 5 years that I've never touched. And it's a great time to actually read these books. So I'm reading lots of books, and I'm reading, just going on the internet and doing things. And I'm also creating a lot of community work with my teachers around Italy. You know, every day we meet each other. And then at 6 p.m. at night, we have our own discotheque. No, we have our own discotheque. I put this whole big amplifier on my window, and the whole street here comes out on the road and starts singing the songs, and we all clap, and we all sort of dance in the mirror, in the windows, and for half an hour, and then we all go back inside. We all say goodbye and good night, and then we came back, and then we eat, and we have a movie night, and then I go to bed and read.
Thank you for that detail. I think the clips on Facebook of the Italians singing and dancing in these communities where you can do that and still be within your 6 degrees of separation are taking the world by storm, and it's really inspirational for the most hard-hit country, or one of the most hard-hit country, depending on whose statistics we're listening to, is still a surviving, happy, ebullient community, and I think that's wonderful, and good for you for doing that. You didn't mention online anything with your classes or clients when you meet with your instructors? Is that Zoom?
Yeah. No, I use Click Meeting.
Which one?
Click Meeting.
Can you spell it for us? Just because we're all listening to new things.
CLICK meeting. Click Meeting.
.com. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. And the speakers thing. And you didn't mention food until the evening after the dance. Surely you're eating during the day. One of you is allowed to go out for food. And is food absolutely the same as always in your stores? Or are you noticing differences?
No, I actually think it's quite weird, like seeing America and how Australia has reacted to the food situation. We don't have that sort of chaos here. People, you have to line up and everything, which is very weird for Italians. And Italians do not line up for anything. So we are changing our ways of changing our ways of living life. But we're all sort of sensible. We haven't bought 20 rolls of toilet paper that I've seen on the internet. Maybe because we've got the big days here. We don't need toilet paper as much as Anglo-Saxons do. But we haven't really gone on a food frenzy like the whole world. It's quite weird.
Well, food is just so much in the culture that if everything is still coming in, and you're allowed to
everything's
do groceries.
No, the government has allowed all trucks to come in and out.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
No vacation planning.
Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you
with online, we haven't really done anything really online because I think these 2 or 3 weeks that we've really suffered emotionally here because it was such a big. We talked with my staff and we thought it was the best thing to do, just YouTube live classes for everyone in Italy, just free YouTube classes, advertise that it's at 6:30 at night. Whoever wants to do it, go online for now and it's not a time for making money in Italy. It's a time for reflection and to help. And that's what we're doing now. And meanwhile, we are talking about online platforms with our teachers, how to teach classes online and how we're going to do it. And this is a week that we're going to use to sort of organize work online if it does get reduced to this.
We're definitely going to find another way that will never go back to what we used to think, right?
Yes.
Let me ask you last question, if possible. Can you share something not related to this, but any embarrassing, funny, hysterical story that you can remember, except for one that involves me when I've been teaching for you over the past couple of years, that you would share with us? A funny or embarrassing story?
Okay, just what I'll share the last funniest moment that I had. So because that's the most vivid. So I was teaching this beautiful math class, and there's all these beautiful women in my class and men as well. And they're all doing these beautiful movements to Vivaldi music, and it was a wonderful experience. Just moving with such ease with this beautiful music on the background. And one girl who's everyone really hates, but we all love her. But she goes, "Oh, I love Mozart," and everyone just went boom and looked at her and got really offended. How dare you say he's Mozart? This is Vivaldi, he's Italian. And she went all red. It was so funny. We were all laughing like chickens. It was so funny. But that was the latest funny thing that's happened in my life.
Thank you for sharing that. It's nice to have some levity. I would be the one in the class saying, "Who is this?" But I don't think I would go out to say, "Is it Beethoven or is this Mozart or who is that?" But I'm sure it was beautiful because your sound system and your studio and your whole facility is great. And it's always been a joy to go there. Plus, it's by so many great restaurants. You're a great person who's fair. As a fellow presenter yourself, congratulations on going this year, being invited to AFC at Asia Fit in Bangkok for their 11th conventions. starting off their 11th decade. Thank you for joining us at this crazy, crazy hour. We send love and light to everyone at this time. But when we think of Europe and our fitness friends in Europe, we have to think of Italy, and we have to think of our good friends and colleagues that we don't even know. Can you just say a few words of inspiration to anyone who might be listening in Italian? It's on the spot, but it
Ragazzi,
inspires me
se
to
siete
hear.
là a quest'ora, all'1:30 di mattina, se siete online, ragazzi, tutto andrà bene. Perciò resistete, cercate di tenere forte tutto e tutto andrà bene. Solo se noi teniamo forza, unità e bellezza che facciamo sempre come italiani. Ok?
Va bene, d'accordo. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Lawrence.
Beyond sweet. Thank you so much.
Italy, that will be beautiful again soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye. Serafino, how do we find you? How do we find you? It's Serafino Ambrosio. You have two things on Facebook.
Yes.
2 different pictures. Serafino Ambrosio, just like it says there. And
yes.
Insta?
Instagram is Serafino Ambrosio Polestar.
Okay, just like we see behind you.
Yeah, like you see.
It's right behind you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Serafino
Easy
Ambrosio.
for you to find your finger.
Yeah, because with the camera, you got to go the other way. Here it is.
What camera? Yeah, what camera? I don't know what camera. Thank you for being on and giving us your time and being part of our PSA. It was very sweet of you. Thank you.
Oh,
Saluti a tutti, soprattutto tutti quelli che non dormono adesso con te.
Ciao ragazzi.
Perché sono svegli. Ciao. Okay, thank you very much. From Italy, we are going to change from Italian and go to Spanish. And we're going to come here to Puerto Rico. And I'm going to introduce up and coming and rising star for the rest of the world, but the world knows her by long and far in Puerto Rico. This is Zoraida González Sepúlveda, and Sori Sepúlveda is a dear, dear friend. We're going to see her handles. There she is. Hello, Puerto Rico. 3 things I know about her. She's a Fitness Idol winner. Number 2, she's a mom of more than one. If you count her husband, if you count 3. And number 3, she is super well known and synonymous with fitness on the island of Puerto Rico. Like Maria Teresa Mendazabal began with importing aerobics in the last century. Now the up and coming person in the malls and the TV shows and the spots is Sori. Thank you very much for being with us. I'm very, very grateful that you're with us. Sori. And as I mentioned the 3 things, how do we find you? We see your name here. That's one way that we find you on Facebook, and you have 2 pages, a professional and a personal. How do we find you on Instagram?
La Joy of Wellness, Sori Sepúlveda.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Okay, where are we finding you? Can you explain to our viewers, not only in Puerto Rico, but if we think of Puerto Rico as a rectangle, where you are?
Actually, I am in the southwest area of Puerto Rico, in a small town that is called Cabo Rojo. And that's where I live, close to the beaches, to beautiful sunsets. Actually, in the other side of the island where you are right now, Lawrence, you are in a beautiful Fajardo spot. So I am all the way in the other corner of the capital of the island.
Right. Can you explain to all our viewers, because I didn't go into what's going on in Puerto Rico, el curfew or toque de queda, what we have during the day and what we have in the hours of night, and that it's been extended, and what we're allowed to do and what we're not allowed to do?
Well, actually, Puerto Rico has been dealing with some very difficult times since Maria hurricane that was terrible for us. So the fitness industry suffered a lot, and actually all the business in the island suffered a lot. So we were trying to step up again, and then we start this year with these earthquakes. Since January, we have been suffering from earthquakes, and as soon as we thought that we were stepping out of that, then we got this coronavirus curfew. Actually, we have been 2 weeks in a row with almost all the business in the island closed. We cannot go out other than going for groceries or to medical attention or to the pharmacy. But we need to remain in our houses. And in the nights, we cannot go out from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning. Now, it's extended for 2 additional weeks, and it's getting more difficult because now it has to do also with what is the number of the
License
I don't
plate.
know, say the license, the tablilla of the registration of your car. And it depends. If your registration is a pair number at the end, you can go out 3 days in the week and otherwise the other 3 days. So it's getting more and more restricted. Everybody
Right.
needs
Even
to,
numbers and odd numbers and coding
yes,
for traffic,
everybody
which has been long
needs
in
to be
Asia.
in the
Now
home.
it's coming here. Right.
Nobody
Can you
can
tell
go
us a
out
little
and
bit
work.
as a mom, but also online personality and presenter? Can you tell us what is your typical day now?
Well, I am reinventing. I have trying to keep my routine because I think it's important for us to keep a structure. If you already have a time to wake up, to eat, to do some projects, to work, try to keep that. You cannot be like a victim of the circumstances. You have to reinvent yourself and try to make the best that you can with what you have. So the first week of this curfew, I was kind of adapting and to see what's going on. And the second week, I said, I cannot keep it myself like this. I need to create something. So I started working on pending projects and new projects. And now I'm having 2 additional weeks of curfew, but I'm have 2 full work from home weeks. So
Right.
I started transmitting Facebook Lives from home once a
I
week.
watch them. Super
Yes,
successful.
it was free for all, I think, because I was trying. I started that before the curfew, and now it's more than convenient. So I started doing that as a gift to the people so that they can move. Then I start working on projects. I relaunch an online program that I had. I relaunch it. I have people that will be training with me in exclusive way. And also, I got some sponsorships from this next week's lives. So I'm going live from Monday to Thursday, 2 times per day, and I have sponsors for those lives. So
So
I
smart,
started,
sorry. You also started PayPal Me so people can make you
yeah,
donations after your classes or before. And then you just said to these companies, listen, you want some advertising? This is my following. Who wants to sponsor the workouts for this week? And now everybody's making money and they're getting exposure. Generally, all gyms in Puerto Rico are closed, right? The
every
the ambiente or the environment here is just, if you're in fitness, you're just staying connected with your online.
and so many
Right.
colleagues
Okay.
are raising up and doing their initiatives and going live because there's no other way that you can work right now here.
Right. I've gotten a lot of requests and a lot of questions from people here in Puerto Rico whose clubs have closed, saying what you do is up to you. And they're very confused because the door's closed and they're not getting paid. And I'm not sure they're going to get or qualify for financial aid. We're close to United States, and Puerto Ricans are American citizens, but Puerto Ricans don't always get all the benefits. You
Yes,
get
it's kind of
American
difficult.
passports, but right.
Mhm.
You can't even vote for the president. Yeah. Which everyone should have voting power, I think. Tell me, do you have any embarrassing or funny story or a song of your years in fitness that have to do with your life?
Well, actually, the birth of my first kid was almost doing class. I was doing a big main event, fitness event, and I was in my 39th week of pregnancy. And I remember this activator that was doing the class with me, and she says, "Go slow, your baby's gonna get out from you right now." And I was laughing, I know, and I kept dancing and doing all the stuff. And I remember that when I finished and I went down to the stairs, I got this strange feeling. I was in labor and I was teaching. I was in labor
Wow.
and so
That's
it was a
great.
very weird moment, but it was very, very in love with that. A year after that, the same event, I went with my little 1 year old, and they made
Oh,
this big main thing for her, and a newspaper wrote something about that, and it was very iconic. So it was a very special
no.
moment in my career.
Thank you very much for sharing those stories with us. Thank you very much for giving us all the news about Puerto Rico. We have been flashing your social media links for your classes and your connection with Instagram. Thank you for being such a professional. Thank you for agreeing to do such wonderful work on our bilingual part of our PSA, public service announcement, up there with 2 languages like Janine from Ecuador and Manuel, who was shooting in Mexico. Thank you very, very much. Sorry, I didn't ask you one junk food that you love, that you are maybe having with stress.
Well,
Junk food, like,
actually, I'm a good eater, but
I didn't ask that.
I really like corn sticks. Corn sticks with guava sauce. I love them.
Corn sticks, surritos.
Yeah,
Those
surullitos.
fried things. Yeah,
Usually
yeah,
they're
fried.
fried. Now I'm doing it in an air fryer. You know what? But they're
Pero
kind
that's
of
not going to
very
taste very good.
good. Kind of very good.
In an air fryer? Okay, good for you.
Yeah, they
Corn
taste
sticks in
good. They
an air
taste
fryer.
good.
But you don't make them. You buy them frozen.
Yes, I buy them. I'm not that kind of good.
Okay, and what's your favorite song? One of your favorite songs.
Well, there's one. It's a worship song that it says that God, He's always working, although we don't see it, although we don't feel it. And it says, can I sing a little? Can I sing it? Are you
Sure,
sure? Okay,
sure,
I'm gonna
sure.
let me find the letter right here, very quick. Okay, it says, even when I don't see you are working, even when I don't feel it, you are working. You never stop working. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. And the song title is
Thank
Here You
you.
Are. It
Thank you very
doesn't
much. Is
matter.
there a Spanish version too? Is
Yes.
there? There is. I'm sure there
Milagroso,
is.
abres camino, cumples promesas, luz en tinieblas, mi Dios, así eres tú. What that means is, it doesn't matter whatever you see or what you cannot see. You can decide how you're gonna see the things and how you're gonna live every day. And it doesn't matter what circumstances you are, I choose to live hashtag joy of wellness because joy is within us. Happiness is outside us. So I choose joy. That's my
Thank you
hashtag.
very much, Sorry. What a beautiful way to end on a song. Thank you from Puerto Rico. I'm going to say goodbye to you and say hello to California. We are going to introduce one of my icon of fitness yoga that is simultaneously authentic yoga. And this is our dear colleague, Stacy McCarthy, joining us from California. 3 things I'll tell you about her. Hello and thank you, humanitarian. In addition to joining on to our project for PSA, number 1, I can tell you about Stacy is that she's really hard to book because she's really in demand. Number 2, her classes, her experiences of yoga are for all levels. I jumped onto a live thing you did yesterday on Instagram. You don't know I was there because you were so far from the camera. And I was moving with you, and you said, this is not fitness yoga, people. This is for life, because this is making us get through together. And I thought that was really good. So it's the marriage of authentic, and you live what you practice. It's not fitness yoga on a stage, and then you're out to go hunting or something like that. No judgments, just you don't hunt. And then the third thing I'll tell you about Stacy is that when she goes to an event, she has more heart than hunger for a paycheck. She's very, very gracious. We've collaborated on some projects, not just the recent PSA, but for IDEA and Inner IDEA and some other projects where, could you also? Sure, no problems. Could you also? Sure, no problem. And there are other people who are also teaching barefoot disciplines who weren't as generous in opening up their minds uncompensated. So I introduce you, Stacy McCarthy. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Can you please tell us how to find you? I think we are flashing that now. Yoga Nama Stacy. Explain to us where you're joining us from.
Okay, welcome everyone. I'm also at the same time, Lawrence, on IGTVing and on Facebook Living at the same time. So we've got a lot going on here. Hi everyone. Hi everyone. So I right now am in America, in San Diego, California, in my kitchen because we're all home, and I live in a home of 3 generations. My mother also is 87 years old, and she has some challenges. She lives here with us. Both my 20-something kids live here. My husband, who's usually, like you, finding someplace in the world, always on a plane, is home, working out of the home office. We're all here, the dog, the cat. So I'm in the kitchen because that is the new hub, because I just cook and clean 3 meals a day. Everybody together, cook, clean, repeat, cook, clean, repeat. That's what's going on here.
I'm spending a lot of time in my kitchen too, and normally I do, but it seems to be like the hearth or the heart of a family. Can you tell us, please, before we talk about anything too related to specifics, in general, because people are more important than things to me, what is one of your favorite junk foods, since we're in the kitchen, that we might not find on a nutritionist list?
Yes, well, we're primarily vegan in our house, so we don't do, and we like a lot of superfoods, as you know. So we've been doing a lot of vegan superfood cookies because I'm a cookie fanatic. So my daughter actually was prepping today. So we use, we just substitute coconut sugar for white sugar. We substitute almond flour for white flour. No, nothing white in it. So we've been doing a lot of cookies, also making a lot of homemade soups, but just really loving everybody together, everyone cooking. I mean, that's one of the good things about what's going on right now.
That's so healthy. So none of that is junk. Have you ever had a fried potato in the last year?
Of course. We made homemade potato
chips.
Yes. Yesterday we made homemade potato chips. Only olive oil and a little bit of sea salt. Chopped them all ourselves. It was delicious.
Okay. One of your big followers and fans, Janie, watching from Alabama. So be very happy to know that you actually had a potato that was not air fried. Can you tell us one of your favorite all-time songs?
Oh, I have so many all-time favorite songs. At my son's home, and so we've been putting on old school Phil Collins Into the Night lately, with that great drum solo. It's not even a favorite, but it's a classic, and it just kind of gets us all going, and we stop whatever we're doing in the kitchen and we do the drum solo together. That's what's going on right now.
It's appropriate for these times. So you're logging on, you're in your kitchen, and nothing really is junk food. Tell us, because you mentioned food, and I am a fan of your company, of food that makes us beam from the inside out. Tell us a little bit about that for those that want to log on and just find out more about what you do. And you're not shipping now, probably, or?
Just juices, only juices. Yeah, so Beaming
is what's the name of your company and how do we find you?
Yeah, it's called Beaming, BEAMING, that you're beaming, radiant from the inside out. And it's superfood. So we're superfood cafes in Southern California. And so we were very early on in the, not just juices, but also in upgrading what you eat, grab and go. So we're vegan, we're no soy, no dairy, no gluten, non-GMO, all organic, primarily to get all the allergens out and give our systems a break and really eating clean for a while. So that's how I like to eat. It doesn't always happen. I'm like everybody else. I eat, when I travel, I eat as the locals. So.
So when you come to Mykonos, I'm going to take you to my friends who make the ice cream from the goat milk right there on the farm.
Yes, I'll do it.
I don't want to hear anything about there's honey in it or something. Okay.
No, I will do it.
Well, wonderful. Tell us where you are now. You mentioned San Diego. What's the ambience there? Is there a lockdown or a curfew? What's day and night?
Yeah, so California is the second one after New York City to really lock down. Our governor had us locked down to really do our best to not have this spread. So we are only really allowed to go out for necessities, groceries, pharmacy, doctor's appointments. Everything else is shut down. Businesses like overnight, boom, just it's disturbing in many ways. I know we'll bounce back, but it's probably going to take a while. I teach at a college as well, where I lead my yoga teacher trainings, and the poor students, we're midway through the semester, and all of a sudden, no school until summer at the earliest. So we just switched to all distant learning online, and for a lot of people, that's very stressful in what's already a very stressful time. So we are in full lockdown here in California. Yeah.
But you are going online and your students are staying connected to you. And are you using Zoom?
Using Zoom. So everyone's on this huge learning curve, right? So we're all switching to Zoom. That's a good part of this. All of us have to get on, like my IGTV and Facebook Live. I'm doing these live classes now, which is all new for me. In fact, somebody the other day actually on Facebook said to me, "Hey, your camera's still on. This is way after it should have ended." And I'm sitting there reading the comments and everything. So learning
I would read my comments too.
Yeah.
Good for you. We're on a learning curve. My learning curve was call Noelle in Malaysia and say, here's my idea. This is what I want to do. This is what I can offer. Can you make it happen? I'm just watching this Rosie show where she has people come and go all around the world, checking in with the entertainment community. And I said, why don't we do that for the fitness community and shed some light on how similar things are between California and New York. But then when we compare with Jonathan, if you heard him speak about Singapore, it's pretty normal compared to, I'm like, wow, places are open and things are operating. It's a little bit different. Great. So tell me what a typical day looks like. You mentioned cooking in the kitchen. What a typical day looks like for you right now. What is your program, if you will?
So I'm moving my body every day, yoga, meditation, journaling, going for walks with the whole family, everybody, grandma, kids, we're all going for nice long walks. And we're cooking together and 3 meals a day all together and taking turns cooking and cleaning up. And these are the type of things that keep me calm during this pandemic, because it is challenging for a lot of us. It's an uncertain, chaotic, kind of crazy time. So these little things are what are keeping me calm. And I think it's important for all of us to find a way, no matter how small, to create some rituals or some things in your day just to bring you some joy and happiness and take your mind off what's going on. And those are the things for me.
Thank you for sharing that. It's very important, I think, that we make a program. Everyone I'm on to listening is, I don't wake up and say, dear Buddha, Allah, Jesus, Mohammed, Moses, move me. I wake up with the program and you can get more done and you can create clarity or create chaos or allow chaos to rule. Good for you. Thank you for sharing your daily life. Are you watching more TV than normal or movies, catching up on anything?
Oh, a little bit in the evening. In the evening, I don't really watch TV much during the day, but in the evening we have been, we just, like the same show each night. We just watched this crazy one called The Tiger King, which is on Netflix. Crazy. It was disturbing for me because of the animals in it, the tigers. It was disturbing to see the abuse of that, but it was like craziest story I've heard in a long time. So yeah, that's been about it so far.
Okay. I love to ask, what are you Netflixing on the people I know that are in America? I'm also, I've just finished Catherine the Great with the incomparable Helen Mirren, which was wonderful on HBO. They offered it for a week. It took me a week to watch it, canceled before it even billed. And now I'll go on to the free Showtime week that they're offering. So that's your typical day. Would you say
that's way more sophisticated than the Tiger King? I will tell you that the Tiger King is total escapism and craziness.
Well, after you told me about the animals, now I won't watch that. The litmus test of what's our meter going to look like in fitness all around California is pretty much the same of what you're doing, right? Teachers are inside. they're doing their own thing, staying connected with Zoom?
Yes, so clubs are closed. Small studios are really suffering. It's going to be interesting because a lot of the smaller studios in particular, you know, they don't really have the bandwidth and the savings to be off for this long. And we're going on week number 3. And this is going to be really, really challenging for them, but they're all closed. So everyone's trying to figure out what do we do, right? How do we continue? And from both ends, from the professionals teaching to, you know, the consumers and the students and the members, you know, we miss you, we want you. So that's where we're all at.
Thank you for being part of our PSA, where we do address with your great ideas, both the practitioners and the professionals. Thank you. I have to ask, going back to your family on the walks daily, is that allowed? And it's okay? Because I have some friends here in Puerto Rico that don't have a lot of land. And when they do venture out, the National Guards that are all over the island do question, and in many cases turn back more than 2 people at a time who are not very well spaced out. So when I hear about a family, I'm thinking, good for you that you're in a place you can do that. Or do you have enough private land that you can do that?
A little of both, but here we are allowed to be with our family within your household and go for walks. And even you're allowed as long as you're 6 feet apart, you are allowed. So what's happening is, like, especially the college students and stuff, they may meet somewhere, but they have to stay 6 feet apart. So of course the beaches here, they've now shut down the beaches, but you have to be 6 feet apart, and you can, so you know, people are still hanging out, just further distance from each other.
Okay, thank you. Tell me this, do you have any interesting, funny, or embarrassing, slightly sarcastic story to share with us of your career of these years that have nothing to do with the history right now, but just with levity?
Yes, I have many, but I'll share one of them because, as you know, namaste is a very special word for me. It always has been, you know, hence yoga namaste. I won't share the story of how I got that name. I didn't come up with it, but some students did. I'll share another story, which is pretty funny. And so years ago, before yoga was quite so popular, I used to teach a 12 o'clock class Tuesday and Thursday at these clubs I was running. And it was a very full class, very popular. And I had this woman who would come to class. She always sat up in the same place, last row, back corner on the right, with a wall to her side and a wall behind her. That was her spot. And if somebody was in her spot, she would ask them to move over. That was her spot. She always got there really early. And we all know that student, right? So one day she came and class was packed. It was mat to mat. There was not a place for her to ask anyone to move over. And so she really wanted to be there. I wanted her to be there. So I said, I used to teach on a stage in the front of the room. And I said, well, you can come up on stage with me while I teach. And she said, okay. So we have our class. We have a lovely class. At the end of the class, I'm sitting at the front of the class. She's sitting next to me. I put my hands together and I say, namaste. And the class says, namaste. And then everyone starts to pack up their mats. And this woman looks at me, and she's been taking my class for, 3 or 4 years, every Tuesday, Thursday. And she looked at me and she said, what did you say? And I said, namaste. And she goes, namaste? What is that? And I said, well, you know, the divine light in me bows, honors, and sees the divine light in you. And when you are in that place and I am in that place, then we are one. And she looks at me and she goes, all this time I thought you were saying, have a nice day.
3 years. 3 years. Oh my goodness.
So,
oh my goodness. Thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah, so what I've learned from that, Lawrence, is that it doesn't matter why people come to us. It doesn't matter. I use a lot of Sanskrit, as you know, and I teach fairly authentically. But it doesn't matter why people come. It's the fact that they're there and she's experiencing it. So, whether she's there to have a nice day or whether she feels that connection of namaste is irrelevant. She's there, she's practicing, and I'm happy about that.
Oh my goodness, good for you. I love that. Thank you for sharing that story. Thank you for this wonderful present of giving us your presence. And I'm very honored that you've given us not only the PSA, but the story, what's going on in your personal life, and how we can find you streaming and on your social media channels, which we have been putting
Yeah.
here. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, and thank you, Lawrence, for putting this together. It's something that is powerful and timely, and hopefully it's going to bring all of us together in a way that we can support each other. And one of the things you said that has really stuck with me is that instead of, just asking for miracles, sometimes we have to be the miracle for someone else. And so for those of us who are in a situation where maybe our clubs are able to still pay us, I'm doing my live streaming for free right now because I'm in a fortunate position, but so many people aren't. So being able to support everyone right now is such a huge thing. So thank you. You are, as you know, I think you're a rock star in our industry and just around the world. So thank you. And thanks everyone for tuning in here too.
Thank you for saying that. I'll say this. Namaste.
Namaste.
Stacy. And now you go.
And have a nice day.
Now go.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, Stacey McCarthy. Thank you very much. What a humanitarian. What a sweet person to check in all the way with us on an earlier time zone where it's still light in California on a Sunday night. And we're going to go all the way now to Asia on a Monday morning to Suzanne Hosley, Dr. Suzanne Hosley. And I'd like to tell you 3 things about Dr. Suzanne. The first thing is that she is a doctor, and not a lot of people know that. Number 2, as a very strong celebrity, in my eyes, of fitness, she had a vision 100 years ago in the last century when she was, I think, living in Vietnam. Can we hear you? Hello, Suzanne, is your camera on? Maybe we need to keep you muted while I'm introducing you. Oh, yes, we can hear you, but we still need to mute you for a moment. And she had this vision of uniting with standards, sort of the standards of the West, the fitness and wellness lifestyle of the East. And she brought certifications to Asia, like American Council on Exercise personal trainers, and then now has it not just in Thailand, where she lives currently, but in so many other countries. And number 3, she, in addition to being the mother of fitness for all of Asia, started this vision of a network party, not just certifications, but a convention, much like conventions in the West, but bigger because multicultural, multi-language, multi-demographic, multi-country, and that's called Asia Fit. And now her Fit offices exist on so many countries. She is one of the true women who influence. She is my boss from the first time she ever invited me for her first convention, which was about a decade ago. I've done 10 shows for you, right? I think from the beginning. And something else you might not know about Dr. Suzanne is she's very, very fit, hence her name, Fitness Innovations Thailand, but also she's just a fit person. So welcome to our Fitness Works Around the World check-in. Dr. Suzanne, thank you for canceling a client for us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening through all the techno people coming in at different times and being flexible enough because of your ability to stretch physically that you're also adapt a slightly different program and time. Thank you for being with us. Can you tell us one of your favorite junk foods, please?
It's not junk food. Chocolate doesn't count as junk food.
Yes, right, correct. Okay. White chocolate, dark chocolate, milk, it doesn't care. You don't care. It doesn't
chocolate, matter. That dark chocolate crap. Real chocolate that is sinful.
Wonderful. And what's one of your all-time favorite songs?
All-time favorite songs?
Yeah.
So many.
Did you get married to a song? Did you date to a specific song? Is there a song that you hear now that just takes you right back to your late husband? We loved Cameron. He was with you at every moment, at every show. Did you share a song that was very...
No, too many songs.
Okay, no one's had a favorite song. I have to ask one thing that sort of takes you out of your expected questions. Tell me, what's going on in terms of being in Bangkok, Thailand? You're now in your home?
I am. I'm on my way to work quietly.
Okay, tell me about the curfew or what's going on in society. What's open, what's closed? What are you allowed to do?
There's no curfew as yet, although that might be coming because Thais are taking it all pretty easy. But currently, since the 18th of March, gyms, spas, massage parlors, schools, universities, entertainment venues, bars, restaurants, boxing stadiums, et cetera, have been closed. So we are closed as a training center. And all of our clients are closed as fitness professionals and gyms, et cetera. So we've been closed, and that will remain until the 30th of April, at least. It's been extended twice now.
No legal curfew, and if you go out, because I saw your pictures of that you posted of beautiful, no traffic, no smog, masks and gloves, or people not even?
No, everyone's wearing masks. People have been wearing masks for a long time now. We were the first country outside of China to recognize a case, and that was back in January. So we've been wearing masks for a long time, and I think Thais are generally more careful, and we've been through SARS and H1N1 and MERS and all kinds of other things. So people kind of know that it's something to be careful about.
Okay, and tell me, in terms of your general new normal day, what are you doing since you're still able to sneak to your work quietly, and you're the only one in there, I assume? Are you streaming classes from there?
No. Most of us, most of the employees are going in. The students, students don't come in.
Okay.
Admin staff have been cut down because we don't need to receive students, but the trainers are going in to run online courses for one group of students who was supposed to have already finished. So we're doing that. We asked other students what they wanted. We said we can offer online, and they said, no, we prefer face-to-face. So
maybe because of the languages, do you think?
No, it's not
hard
that.
To understand?
I mean, our students sign up for us because they want to learn face-to-face. They don't want to learn online. There are online options, and those people go to those companies. But for us, they want face-to-face. So we'll see how it goes. If it keeps up till the end of April, we're okay. If it goes to the end of May, we're probably not so okay.
Right.
We'll see.
I love the series you started on Asia Fit and your personal site on Facebook, Suzanne Hosley, and then it's shared to Asia Fit Conference, which is the tips, right? Which are the tips? You started, how can we take care of our immune system and optimize our immune system wherever we're living? I loved it. It wasn't scary statistics. It was facts over fallacies. And then you actually said it's part of a series. So you're going to get other people. You've asked a few people I know to make some things and contribute, and I'm honored, and sure, absolutely. I think it's great. You just give me the topics. I'm still waiting for that email. Wonderful. Okay. And tell me this, in terms of fitness in general, are all other fitness facilities, all the
closed.
Fitness First, they're all closed?
Closed. Everyone's closed. So small studios, big gyms, boxing, school, everything, it's all closed. So
Pat Pong, pole dancing, everything's closed.
Thank God, yes, that's closed.
All the temples.
I can imagine some of the hot spots where things are being transmitted are in bars and those places.
Sure.
I mean, it's just nuts.
Sure. Okay, wonderful.
So,
then tell me about, if I were at the river, at where all the hotels are, right?
Yeah.
And so much communication and so many people go, and the big mall with the new Apple store there. What would I see if I stood there? Is it as a morgue, or there's still some busyness going on?
Nothing. I was there yesterday morning. I walked down to support my local market, and there's no boats on the river. There are no boats. It's totally quiet. There's nobody around except a few people in the market, but everyone's keeping their distance and walking away. But
there's no curfew, no legal curfew.
No legal curfew, but I suspect it will be imposed this week if things keep going. Our cases it was a very slow progress, and now the last week or so we've been going up about 100 per day. So if that's not so bad. If it stays that way, that's okay. But if it keeps going up, then we'll have a curfew.
Oh, wow. Well, I pray for all the time. Has the new king actually come on and addressed the country, or is everything just coming out through the news?
Most of it is the government. We are now under a state of emergency, so the army and the police can basically stop anyone they want to stop if we're doing things that we shouldn't be doing, which is fair enough right now. So we have it's more like that than than curfew. So there are checkpoints.
Right.
One of the issues with all the businesses closing down, a lot of people in Bangkok come from the countryside. And if they lose their job, they can't stay in Bangkok. They can't afford to.
Right.
So they all go home. And by doing that, if they're infected, they're bringing the disease with them. They're bringing the virus with them. So they're setting up checkpoints to take people's temperature as they cross state borders.
Which is all like infrared. You don't actually get touched to get your
Yeah,
temperature like the airports are doing. Right. Okay. Well, kudos to you for not closing, because you're finding ways to keep those who want distance to do that. The trainers are streaming some places, some classes, but it's affecting business, of course, everywhere. Good for you.
Course,
with not having to close. You're not. Right.
The business is closed, but we're trying to help our students whichever way we can.
Which is wonderful. Good for you. Good for you. Would you like, off topic, to share any story with us that might be funny or humorous, sarcastic about something that's happened in all the years? Not that there have been many, 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 many years that you've been involved in fitness, but any story? I just asking. I just ask questions. When I mentor my clients, I don't make suggestions. I just make questions. Tell me, do you have any story for us that is just off, something that just would bring fun or something unexpected that happened?
I was fired as a member of the biggest club in Thailand.
Can you tell us why?
Well, they were doing some very nasty things to their trainers, and some of us members got together and tried to petition and support them, and basically we got fired for causing a fuss. So I lost my membership.
For standing up. But you lost your job for doing the right thing, right? I'd rather stand for something than fall for nothing. Yeah, good for you. Good for you. Thank you for sharing that story with us. Even though you don't have a favorite song of all the music there is in the world, and all the music that's ever played in your gym, and all the classes you've ever taught or trained, that's okay. I'm not going to leave you on the spot that you have to say Frank Sinatra's My Way has always been your mantra.
No,
Not at all. Where can we go to find out more about this event, this huge fitness party you put on every year in October?
We hope this year in October. We're not sure this year in October, but it's www.asiafitconference.com, or just go to Asia Fit Conference 2020 on Facebook.
And we're also on Instagram.
Yeah, and we're so far planning to go ahead, but we will decide long in advance if we have to cancel.
Right.
So by
June,
if
we're hoping for August for Camp Fit Pro in Toronto. I was listening to Mo Hagan yesterday talk about that. We're hoping, and so October gives us idea. Korea is the end of August, no word, and then we have you the beginning of October. So we're hoping. We don't know about tomorrow, but that your event is the beginning of October, and it's year number 11, right?
Number 12.
Year 12. 12. I did 11. I did 10 years, right? So this will be year number 12. Silly me. I stopped keeping track now that we're in 2020. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Let me know. Email me what you need me to do as a release for what you are all putting out there. And thank you very much for giving us the wonderful presence of your wisdom for tonight. And thank you for canceling a client. I hope that client was flexible.
Wasn't a client. Staff. We don't have clients. We don't have clients.
You're already paying. You're already paying. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Lovely what you're doing. I think it's a great idea. Good for you. Good for Noel.
I just want people to check in around the world. Fitness Works, #Fitness Works, and fitnessworks@findlawrence.com for any questions. The only thing we don't do is take money or donations or a fund, because that's up to each individual to do. Look out. If you're taking classes, ask those people. Are you getting compensated? How can I help? Can I make a small contribution towards anything? And if you're teaching, you just remind people nothing valuable is free. It's just not. You can't have a mission and not make a margin. You just can't. All right, we're going to stay in Asia, and we're going to go to Malaysia, and we're going to bring Techno Wizard Mr. Noel Chalaya, and his wife, Kim, who has now become the diva of online training now that they've taken all their classes online and are virtually Zooming almost everything. We were speaking and she said, normally when you teach and you get to walk around, it becomes a whole different experience when you have to demonstrate every single thing online. Thank you, Kim. Come on camera. You're slightly offside. You don't have to be shy. There you are. I'll tell you 3 things about them. Noelle is a humanitarian. First one to say yes. What do you need me to do? Kim has written a book, But by Grace, telling about how she was such a competitive gymnast and cyclist and weightlifter and doing so many things, hit by a hit and run driver in a coma forever, and not forever, clearly. Noelle never left her side in the hospital, but posted his prayers to her while she was in coma with a wedding ring in his hand, saying, when she comes out of this coma, and she will, I'm going to ask her to marry me. And it happened, and it was just very sweet. And the third thing I'll tell you about them is they have this gym in Malaysia with people who want to work for them. They turn instructors and trainers away because they're so selective and quality control oriented. And their gym is not called a gym. They never use the 3 letters GYM. They call themselves the Lighthouse, bringing fun light to everybody. And they use unicorns and rainbows as their symbols. And I'm so down with all of that. There's a heterosexual couple putting rainbows everywhere, inviting the world to come and sweat. Hey, I'm so open to that. Thank you for joining us, Kim, and thank you for joining us, Noelle. Tell me, what is your favorite junk food when you guys get home from work and you want to eat something that you wouldn't be posting?
I would have a burger from McDonald's, though it doesn't happen very often.
Okay. And Kim, a junk food?
Ice cream. Always ice cream.
Wonderful. That's dairy, I don't think is the devil's, I don't know. What flavor?
What flavor? Mint chocolate chip.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, back in my obese days, that's easy. A gallon of that after Catholic school, so I don't eat that flavor anymore. But it was my favorite. Noelle, can you get a little bit closer to Kim because it looks like there's so much space between you because the view is really cool and you're such a cute couple. How many years are you married now?
5 years.
Are you sure?
Wonderful. What was your wedding song?
This year.
Your wedding song that you danced to at your wedding that I wasn't invited to, but I got a piece of cake a year later? True story.
There was no
dance.
There was no dance. We had it outdoors.
Give me one song. I want one song that is a song you really like.
One song. Kim has the song.
This just recently. It's Tomorrow by Annie Queen and Eileen Queen. Tomorrow.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for being the first one tonight to give me a song. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We'll all look at it. Can you give us, Noelle, please, your social media links across the bottom so we can follow you? Because in addition to being a gym and a philanthropist and also a speaker and a presenter and a fitness idol as well. Oh my goodness, what is this fitness idol program around the world that helps put rising stars on the map? So everybody can follow you. I'm going to invite you to make you full screen and take me off for a second and tell us about where you are, what's curfew, what's going on in fitness in Malaysia, and what is a typical day for you. I'll still stay here with audio if you can keep me, but I can coach you through those questions. Just tell us about what's going on now in Malaysia. You're in KL, your capital, Kuala Lumpur, and tell us, oh, this is so much better. I'm much better small. I'm even better off the screen. Tell me what's going on. What's going on?
Yeah, so KL is we're not in a complete shutdown, as in the city is still functioning, but people have been asked to stay at home. They've said no coming out to exercise. You cannot walk your dog. Stay at home, but they allow us to go out and buy groceries. They allow us to go out to buy food and to do any essential shopping. For us, what's affected us the most is that the gyms have been forced to close because it's not under an essential service. Although I think it's more essential than anything. So we've been ordered to close, and that made us bring all our clients online instead, which we were able to get them up and running very quickly in less than 24 hours. So for us, in a way, business is almost as usual. with we've got 30 classes scheduled for this week, and they are all virtual classes on calendar with our team going in to teach from their homes. So that's been exciting. On Zoom, yes. Yes.
And I just have to circle back to your big dog. It's a Rottweiler, a Kiwi, who has her own Instagram page like Biscuit. If you're not allowed to go outside and walk your dog, and your dog is a dog that makes big poopies, what are you doing?
No, we have a front yard garden outside our house, so she doesn't do it in the house, but she gets to go out and do it.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Okay. All right. So online streaming, it's booming, seamless. They're paying. You're keeping your instructors going. You're always doing these offline private groups anyway, where you're coaching and counseling. What's really fun for that? Good for you. Tell us about the status of fitness at other places. Closed, open? Do you see personal trainers in the parks? I guess that's not allowed. What's just going on? Can you characterize what's going on in general?
Sure. What we see is, of course, all the gyms are closed. I've seen some gyms renting out their equipment. So they are like, come and rent our spin bikes, and we'll send it to your home. I've seen that one. I've seen some CrossFit boxes allow their members to check equipment out, which I think is interesting. But what I think some good that has come out of this is just to see a lot of fitness professionals take what they do in their classroom outside. So it's like, boom, all these fitness people that appeared out of nowhere, although they've always been there. So when I go on my Instagram feed, I see like fitness. There's a class happening like every hour by every gym, which is amazing. I think that we are out there now and reaching more people than we ever have. And it's great to see, like, I can speak for our place, which is Daily Muscle, is that the one thing that our members have said is that, it's not so much about the workouts, but I just love that we get to see each other, that we can connect. And like my husband says that, oh, I'm so jealous that you have a group that you can look forward to every evening at 6:30 p.m. So we've seen the whole community part rise up here, and it seems to be it's overshadowing the fact that people are coming in just to train, and that's been pretty amazing. What is the one thing?
Number one, that's a test to you, because you have built this community strong enough to say we can't come in, but we're going to stay on. And other fitness places around the world can attest to that. Maybe not with your same energy. So good for you. I feel your conviction. I know at the back of the end of, you've always been techno wizard, but I'm sure you had a little learning curve to do all this and get all your team set up to do this at home in an instant is a little bit of a learning curve. And you don't just stream your classes. You're streaming your classes and you're giving feed forward and notes to every single person, because you post the behind the scenes, which I'm all about. You show Kim sweating like a beautiful mess in front of coaching and correcting everybody. She sees what they're doing at home, like so many people are doing as well. But it's an additional step up for techno. So good for you for doing that. It's a great attest to you. And number two, great attest to you to be able to organize the techno wizardry of tonight, of your morning, of the behind the scenes fitness works check-in with people all around the globe. Thank you very much for being this. Kim, how are you finding your regular day now? Are you doing more movement, the same movement? Because you can't walk around now, you got to actually demonstrate every single thing. Have you been more sore?
I wouldn't really say more sore, but it's just a lot of pressure that people are actually watching and hearing you, and all the cues need to be on point, and everybody's just watching that small screen.
Cueing in fitness? Do you think that's important? That verbal, visual, kinesthetic stuff? Oh my goodness.
That you taught us, Lawrence, came into, it's so important now, and we got to learn it from you, and we got a head start. And of course, Noel doesn't think he's doing much, but I feel like he's doing a lot for us and for the community out there. Everything that he learned in IT is coming out now, and he's more important than anybody else. Not even me. I don't think a squat and a push-up is gonna change, but an IT person is so important right now. And so
that's number two of him. He's so humble. Go ahead. Your regular day, what are you doing? Wake up, wash, repeat. Wake up, teach, wash, repeat. What are you doing?
My
no wash. They can't smell you.
Yeah, but I still do all that I need to do. I still wake up 1 hour before class. The only difference right now is having to see all the faces on a screen and talk to them. And Kiwi is having the time of her life. She's having us 24/7, and she's crawling on us. She's making her appearance when she need to be appears, when she need to appear, and it's always the right time. So yeah.
Tell me, are you able to get permission as the owner, just the two of you, to go into your gym and stream from that space? Because some people are actually gotten permissions from their governors as a public service, posing no risk to be able to do that. Some clubs around the world are sending in only the tech, the one person on the camera, one person an instructor. They always have that distance between them, and then they stream from that personal training environment. And then the next hour is the group fitness, then the personal training environment. And if your government approves, or whoever you need to get permission from, in Mykonos, it's the local police. I don't know where it is from you. Is that possibility?
Not officially, but I don't see it to be a problem as long as we don't gather in groups. So like my team, they all have their keys to the gym. If they can go in and come out and do what they got to do, it is something that we could do. But right now what we've done is I've sent microphones to my team. We've done a Zoom walkthrough with my team just to make sure that they know how to be successful online.
Good for you for doing that. I really appreciate that. And Kim, you're still cooking and still doing regular things, and the grocery stores are all exactly as they always have been?
Yeah, yeah. And the good thing about us here is I know it's Grab, what's that? Uber Eats in America, Grab in Malaysia. They're still going and doing what they normally do. So they deliver food. They also deliver parcels, and all delivery are still going on as normal here. So we still grab our food, and here and there we cook a little, not
yeah, and
not as much.
because those services are still available, let me share with you what we're doing. We send a pint of ice cream to our members, and it's almost random. So we look out at what's happening on their Facebook. Like the other day, one of our members said that, oh, I wish I have everything except beer and chocolate. She said that. So what I did was I wrote a note and I said that I can't help you with the beer, but here's some chocolate, and we got it done, sent to them. And we're doing one every day. It's like chocolate or ice cream, or we just want to send something to everybody, and it's been going really amazing. It's like we are happy, they are happy. And I learned that I don't take credit for this, but I learned this from Mark Fisher Fitness. They're always looking for people to wow. And it's been great.
Mark Fisher Fitness. Say it again. He's part of our PSA. He gave his time.
Shout out to Mark Fisher and Michael Keeler from Mark Fisher Fitness in New York City, who taught us that it's just go out there and serve the community. So we're looking at ways that we can wow them. And Lawrence, I don't take credit for a lot of things that you give me praise for, but I will say that the one reason we've been able to do so much and innovate very quickly is because we partner and collaborate and learn from other fitness professionals who are doing better and doing incredible stuff. And we've always been that, working together and learning, like working with you and learning how to improve. So it's great that you're doing this whole thing, because we all get to learn from each other as well.
Imitation is the highest form of being flattered, even if you don't give credit. I don't think, well, they're doing this, we couldn't possibly copy. When we're all trying to figure things out, if it's legal and ethical and makes a lady happy and doesn't sabotage her goals because she's getting some fat-free, vegan, dairy-free, sugar-free, half-size sample, mouth size of ice cream, which of course it was, then I think good for you for sending Hazel some ice cream. Just wonderful. Congratulations on that. Can you share, either of you, a story that has nothing to do with the state of fitness, where you are as fitness works? Fitness has worked and has brought you to where you are. Any embarrassing situation or anything that's happened? Either of you want to talk to that?
Do you have a story?
Something funny just before everything was locked down. So we told our team that we gotta be prepared for this corona that's coming up. That's even before the COVID word has been invented by the fitness or no, the health professionals, and we said we're gonna have to
Right.
prepare for this corona thing. And Sharon replies us and say, "You mean the beer? That I can do, no problem." And yeah, so that was quite funny, we thought, and I was laughing my head off. That no, Sharon, not the beer,
Yeah.
the virus, Sharon. Yeah.
Sharon,
So
your teacher, right?
yes,
Sharon,
Yeah.
I love her. She is, what's her hashtag on Instagram? She's hysterical. She's
She's got
irreverent, like Josie
a long
Gardner.
Sharon
She's what?
Elena. Sharon Elena.
Yeah.
yeah.
Can you flash that so everybody sees it? People are visual, as we're all now visual, verbal. Yeah, Mr. Techno Wizard. I know. Thank you for being behind the scenes. That's it. So that's the story. And neither one of you shared one of your favorite songs. Thank you very much. And I'm going to ask you to not start your day or continue your day, but stay behind the scenes. Thank you for checking in from Malaysia. I'm finding and I'm listening to Jonathan and you and Suzanne that there are no legal restrictions and curfews during the day. Like US is under lockdown. Italy has been under lockdown. It seems like geographically where all of this began is slowly gone around the world and is coming back to Asia to be more strictly looked at or seen back in Asia last. It's really gone around the world. That's what I'm hearing, at least tonight, that it's going to become more strict. How are cases, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
increasing.
we get about 150 new cases every day. I think the daily total of people who have been infected is around 2,000 ish. But the good news is that I think we've had at least about 100 people who have recovered, which the media doesn't really talk about much. And that it's climbing, but I think it's slowing down.
Yeah.
I think.
And certain areas
Thank-
in KL is under red zone, so they are under lockdown.
What does a
It's
red zone mean? I've been seeing some of this on Instagram. Red zone means highly infected.
Yeah, I think that area has a lot of people that have been infected, and those areas are a little stricter, as in like no groceries, no getting out of the house at all. But they will, I think the government will make efforts to deliver food to your home or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Imagine they come up in a whole hazmat suit to drop those goodies and leave them at the door. You don't even have to sign for this. Thank you very much for, I'm
Thank you.
expressing my gratitude to you. Thank you very much for your presence tonight. You can go off screen. You can give me full screen. Thank you very much, Kim. Thank you for keeping all of your people in all of your challenges alive and well and healthy and connected. We're going to go now, still in Asia, from Malaysia to the Philippines. And I'm going to introduce one of the fitness mothers of the entire country, from TV, from books, to being a personality, to owning and running and still teaching in the longest running gym I've ever worked for, as what I call our mama of fitness, with her co-partner in crime, Veronica, or we'll call her Miss V. This is Lita. And Lita, hello Lita, good morning, maganda umaga Pilipinas, kumusta ka? We're going to unmute you. Hold on. We're going to unmute you, and I'll say good morning one more time. Maganda umaga. Oh, we can't hear you. Can you look at your screen and... No, we still can't hear you. Maybe, is she muted? Mr. Techno Wizard Noel, is there anything else we could do for her? Can you... She's unmuted now. Talk to us. No, I still can't hear you. Oh. Well, Noel is going to try to figure this out with you. Let me just tell us all, we love having behind the scenes tech support. 3 things about Lita. Number 1, she has the longest running gym in the Philippines on this island called Cebu, but she's very well known in all the other islands that come together collectively, and they're known as the Philippines. Number 2, no fitness professional stays certified with as many certifications internationally from the West as Lita. And also, she has never found another fitness professional, no other gym owner has ever imported as many programs from America. Remember Jazzercise? Well, every program that's come and gone and stayed, like Zumba, to things where we tap, things where we stomp, things where we push, gizmos and trainings and gadgets that we buy with sound education behind it. If she's the litmus test with Family in America, always coming to IDEA, always coming to Inner IDEA, always coming to other events like SCW, she has seen programs, talked to those coordinators, tried to work out some reasonable way that in the Philippines she could import their education, and if it's been a win-win, she's been able to bring them. The average rate of a class instructor in the Philippines is something like $4 to $5. So if a training is $1,000 a person, she can't say, oh, sure, come to the Philippines, we can host you, because that's more than a salary that you'd make in a year of teaching. So we have to look at everything in terms of relevancy and relativity. But I met her 100 years ago when I went to teach for her gym, and I said, sure, I'm in this to spread wellness and fitness and race and standards. Took some certifications for her over the years, and she's going to restart and then rejoin. In addition to being somebody I've loved taking classes for and teaching at her place for a week, going to the Philippines from the West, you don't want to go and teach a one-off or teach a one day. I've enjoyed going to their, not only the place from which all mangoes in the world are grown and dried when they come from the Philippines, but also, I say, all of fitness in the Philippines looks to Ma'am Lita for what to do and what programs to follow. She has so many programs. I really invite you. Noelle's going to tell you what her Facebook page is of her gym. And this Cebu Holiday Spa is the name. It has a wonderful, wonderful approach to putting a menu of experiences. They don't say class schedule or class program, but menu of movement experiences. And it's so fun. It's so colorful. Everything looks like joy and happiness, and not everything level 3 and not everything like kill me mentality. Their classes are pretty intense, and their highest packed classes going in 2020 are still step. I think that's fascinating because there was a discipline years ago, Jen Miller, where we would go up and down on a box or a platform. Steady state cardiorespiratory training. It was lovely. It was simple. It became very complex. It became almost choreographed symphony of Broadway Las Vegas meet each other. And then it's hard to find step today around the world with the same ubiquity that we had in the last century. There are still places where it's alive and well, like at Mom Lita's place. Do we have Lita ready to come back yet? Perhaps when we do, we'll just bring her on. We have her as only video. I'm so sorry to hear that. Can we bring you, Lita, so we could see you one more time? Yay. Maybe. I'd rather see you even if we can't hear you. It'll be like Zumba. You can cue to us. How many classes a day do you offer in your facility? On most days? About 6? Show me with fingers. 5, 10, 10, 15, 20. Okay, a lot of classes. I've told people about where we can find you and follow you because your menu of program of experiences is really wonderful. I'm sorry we don't have video for you. I was going to ask you how it's going. You're still posting your own workouts. I saw your mat and your weight yesterday. You said, I'm still going to get in my movement today. And you have a large following, so that's wonderful. Do you live close to the club or do you live far from the club? This is close. This is far. Do you live close? You live far from your club. So you're not going there now? Or are you still going there? You're not allowed. No. Okay. And are you still talking online with Miss V, your partner in fitness crime of all things? Every day you speak, every day you do things. She's definitely one to follow. I'm so sorry that we couldn't get your audio working. Do you have anything on your computer that is mute to unmute? Of course, you've looked at it. If there is any button, anything that you could. No, it's okay. I understood. Sorry, which in Tagalog is baumanhin. Yeah, Miss Irene taught me that. I'm sorry. Although in Philippines, people just say sorry, sorry. Tell me if all gyms are closed where you are, and you're in Cebu, and are you streaming classes to your clients? Not yet. Okay, so the students are just home. Okay, so there's no step going on right now. I know, I could use a towel. I saw someone posting a towel on his kitchen floor and up and down on the towel. Man, that towel was sliding, kind of dangerous. I would put some Scotch tape if you want to pretend it's a step, but then you don't get the up and down. Thank you for joining us. I won't keep you in turmoil of just letting us see you. Thank you for doing your lips on a Monday morning. You look fabulous, ravishing. I won't say how old or young you are, but I will say that you are a veteran of wisdom in our industry. I think it's been amazing how from back days of AFPP, Association of Fitness Professionals of the Philippines, we met, and you're one of the few people that with great personal and physical sacrifice fly to the States, take the programs and bring them back for your country. And I admire that. I really do, because every country needs a portavoz or a spokesperson or the wisdom to know what is the hype, but what is a future trend that might have merit, and you bring those programs. Above that, you brought certifications. I did the first yoga certification in the Philippines for you guys. That was 1999 or something. Thank you very much. Do you have friends there that can help your audio? No? Yes? Yeah? No? You're gonna look around for the ube, which is a wonderful purple potato. It's my favorite thing about the Philippines. There is a potato that is dark, dark purple, and you can get the cheesecake, you can get it baked, you can get ube pancakes, you can get ube shakes, you get ube ice cream. Hello? Okay. I hear your AirPods. Not yet. If you go up, are you on a Mac computer? Mac? Maybe Mac? It's an Apple computer? Do you know where on your computer, Lita, do you know where your Bluetooth setting is? Because you have, once you put these in, you have to go to Bluetooth and connect to your AirPods like I did. And it is. Okay, sorry. All right, we love you. We're going to say goodbye, and we're going to remind you to tell all your people, because you can hear me, that Fitness Works is our hashtag when you go online and start connecting with your classes. And any questions about anything we can do as fitness connected community, Fitness Works at findlawrence.com. We are going to now go from Asia all the way to New York City to one of the icons of fitness following. And that means one of the instructors I know who's not only personality, who sings all of his cues, who has perfect rhyme and reason in the industry, Mr. we call the Feinberg, Steve Feinberg, who jumped on board, on task with us for our PSA. Hello, Mr. Steve Feinberg. We are going to unmute you and say good evening.
Hey, good evening to you, Lawrence, and to everybody who's listening.
Hi.
How are you? Hi.
I'm awesome. 3 things I want to say about you. Number 1, you're the creator of Speedball Fitness. You're also the martial artist extraordinaire, having written other certifications as well, in addition to online trainings and virtual and live trainings. And number 3, most interestingly, in addition to balancing all of your, until recently, regularly packed classes at Equinox, a new dad, which has dramatically changed your to-do duties every day. So congratulations. How's that working for you?
I like the way you slip in to do duties. There's lots of duty. That's just a part of the gig. I honestly, I love it. And I will say this with the utmost empathy for all of our situations right now, that, oh, thank you, Yuri, for saying I look handsome. If you've got to be quarantined, try and get quarantined with a 7.5-month-old if you can, if it's possible, because they live for you. So honestly, we're figuring out our bearings, and we're trying to work with routine. I know we're going to talk about now how I'm coping and how the industry is coping, and I have some great things that I'd love to share with you guys about that are working for me. But you know, he's having the time of his life. He's 7.5 months old. He has both parents home all day, and we're both working from home. So we tag team and trade off, and it's not easy. But if you're going to make lemonade out of lemons, make them with a 7-month-old.
Oh, that's great. Or a puppy or a biscuit.
Yes, or a puppy, which would be the next move, I think.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Let me start, as I'm doing so many, by saying, can you please tell us something interesting we're not going to find in a bio or a read introduction of you? What is a junk food that you might like that we might not read about in your bio? Is there such a thing?
Well, I don't know what's in my bio.
Wonderful. Thank you. Red over white.
Not,
I remember that. And number
yes.
2, what's one of your favorite songs of all time? Just one of your favorite songs.
Oh, man. So Fly Away by Lenny Kravitz continually lifts me up and inspires me in under almost any circumstance, honestly. Whether it be a plane takeoff and puts me at ease, to when I just need to hype myself up in the middle of the day, to right before a performance. It just gets me up.
Thank you very much. Speaking of getting up, we are going to stay inspired by you by following your social media links, which we're showing here. Is there anything else you want us to look at in addition to Insta and Facebook about you?
I'm sure you can just leapfrog from there, and I don't want to take up the crawl too much. I'm findable. So, you know, we're public figures. Let's stay on the business in hand, and people who are interested, they'll find us because they are.
I think it's important to have more followers at the end of an interview than less. Tell me this, where are we finding you? You're in your living room, and you mentioned moving on some Facebook something recently. I went to visit you on the Upper East Side. Where are you now?
We moved on the Upper East Side, and so we moved a few blocks, and then we recently, a few weeks ago, we moved a few floors, and so this is where we are now.
Wow, lovely. Is that
hi,
Sari
Saf.
in the kitchen?
It
Hi.
sure is. Say hi to the matriarch, the wife.
Shalom. Thank you for sharing your husband for this time. Thank you for telling us where you are. Tell us what's going on in New York in terms of New York in terms of curfew. I think it's pretty strict day and night.
It's been re-announced today on the crawl on New York One and all the important channels that Governor Cuomo has extended until April 15th, the complete non-solitary confinement rule. If you are not medical, fire, first responder, transit, bank, or postal, you are to stay home at all costs at all times, except for quick visits to the grocery store. You are not to gather. Police are enforcing against gatherings with heavy penalties. Police are enforcing against businesses that are not complying with the rule. Restaurants are takeout or delivery only. It is a bit of a ghost town, but we're New York. We're resilient. So when you go outside, you do see people out getting from place to place. It is inevitable. You can only order so much on Amazon. You may have to run to the corner store. Thank goodness for the people who are staying open, who are doing part-time, who are meeting you through a window with gloves and a mask and passing you your food. It's heartwarming. And the most wonderful thing, I know we're all looking for rainbows and sunshine, and we should be, is if you know anyone who's on social media live at 7 p.m. in Eastern Standard Time in New York, connect with them or ask them to go outside and call you. The entire city erupts at 7 p.m. clapping for the first responders and postal workers that are getting off at quitting time. Every night, the clapping and screaming lasts 10 to 15 minutes. You wave at other people on balconies. It's absolutely heartwarming and beautiful. We're a resilient city. Yes, like Italy, like balcony parties. Absolutely.
Right. Tell me, are you allowed to take your dogs out? Because you said only to the store.
I mean, yeah, people are walking their dogs, absolutely. And so, you do that around the block, and you keep 6 to 10 feet of safe social distancing. Everyone in my building, my doorman, they're all wearing gloves. They're all wearing masks. Deliveries are not allowed past the lobby. You have to come down and get it. You have to bring it back up. No boxes or bags go into my apartment. They get stripped in the hallway. They get sprayed down, and then they get brought in.
Right. You have to be uber vigilant of what you bring in. You've got a newborn at home. Tell me about, I've heard so many different stories. Are Starbucks open or not? Because you could go in and buy food and take it out.
So the truth is, I have absolutely no idea. I am not a Starbucks person, to be honest. I'm a matcha guy. I like a company called Matcha Bar. And I order cans of sparkling matcha, and that's my thing.
Yuri's always there, Matcha Bar. Tell me, okay, now the next question is, tell us a little bit about your traditional, as of March, your new day.
Like, what's my new normal?
Yeah.
Okay. My new normal is Manny housekeeper and independent business owner, and the independent business owner part is not new. The nanny and the housekeeper is new. My wife, for those of you who don't know who my wife is, she is a senior executive at a Fortune 100 company, and it's in media, and she is very, very busy. And the telecalls she's on are actually very important. And so what I find myself doing is picking up the slack in a way that is very challenging for a first-time father who had his income reduced to 25% of what it was before, trying to figure out how to survive and how to grow that in opportunity, which I believe I am, and at the same time, wiping butts, joking, laughing, throwing, playing, cleaning, napping, and taking care of a tiny person who literally is part of a generation that will have no idea why they were less socialized.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
In your daily life, you're, in addition to all the things you mentioned, you're also posting, because I've been there, supporting, if not sweating, your workouts, right? You've been Instagramming and Facebooking your movement for your classes and clients, and tubing and balls
100%.
and bands and
Yes, I am. I'm still training my clients, the select few that are my loyals through FaceTime and through Zoom and through various methods. I prefer FaceTime, and I like to AirPlay it to my TV. I have a lot of Mac devices, and then it bounces right to my TV, so it's nice. I am working on programs that people are accepting. I've seen an uptick in the sales of my online programs, but they are interrupted drastically, and they wouldn't be as much by all of the free full-length offerings by fitness professionals who are trying to stay relevant and getting their stuff out there, and celebrities and Instafluers getting into the game and providing all of these experiences, whether they be science-based or not, in a way that interrupts the value in some cases of our services, which is the problem that I think we're seeing in the industry right now, is this interruption.
Okay, can I ask you?
Go ahead.
Can I ask you, because I'm going to run and make a bathroom. I know you can do this, which is why I scheduled you at this time. I'm going to have Noelle bring you screen, take me off, and mute my microphone for a few moments while you tell us what is the status of fitness at this epicenter of fitness. Some people say Gotham is the center of the world. Some people say it's now the epicenter of the biggest number of growing of cases. My question, to rephrase, tell us about what you know is fitness now, from clubs saying we're shut, keep your people happy, trainers being told we're shut, but your clients are ours, you're not allowed to stay in contact with them, and instructors who are either hungry or not what you think, because that would be a whole other check-in. Just could you tell us, please, what's going on in New York City from your experience with Equinox and other places, please? And
happy
Noelle,
to do
I'll
it.
be right back.
Happy to do it. Thank you, Lawrence, for the opportunity. Okay, so Lawrence's question leads to me reacting from the most populated fitness city in America, and also the one that's being affected the most severely by this crisis. And so I can tell you this, I have a large network of people that I'm very close to who are personal trainers, small group trainers, group fitness instructors, and all of those things combined. And the best do many things. And the multifaceted professionals are doing the best right now. They're surviving the best. And there are different ways to do that. But what we're experiencing in the upper echelon of clientele here in New York is and when I say upper echelon, I mean the wealthier people, more of the 1%, which are the people that I deal with the most as far as my personal training, my one-on-one or my two-on-one, and then say the top 5 to 10% are the people I end up teaching group fitness classes to at a place like Equinox. They have run for the hills, and a lot of people are uncertain and confused, and they're inundated by a lot of free offerings that may or may not be exactly what their body needs or requires, but people are doing what they can to stay motivated. And what I do love about this industry is we come together hard and fast, and everyone wants to lift people up and be helpful, and their hearts are open, and it's a beautiful, wonderful thing. And there is teamworking. What we need, I believe, is more teamworking, more co-promotion. I had climbed into a live Zoom of a friend of mine from Chicago, Raina. She's out there listening right now. Studio Fit Chicago did a beautiful fundraiser using my hitbox methodology to raise money for the children of the first responders whose programs were cut. Their creative programs, their movement programs, their art programs that aren't essential programming because the schools just can't validate the expense right now, and they don't have the online syllabus to put that into play. That's the difficult part. So doing your part, being a part when you know that you are an influencer, when you're a person who has a degree of credibility into other people's businesses is important, and you can lend yourself for free. That doesn't mean that we all have to give all of our workouts for free or not have an ask. I still have to feed my child. We still have to pay bills. So what I've been doing, what a lot of people have been doing short, free hangout, workout, wellness socials on Facebook Live and Instagram Live. And I love that. I love seeing all of my friends in action every day. I pop in, I throw a thumbs up. Even when I've got my son in my arms and a bottle in his mouth, I still make sure I just quickly cruise who's on live, and I make sure I show some love and respect, especially for my New Yorkers first, and then of course across the country and around the world, luckily being connected to the international fitness population. What I do know is that there is a matriculation of business that's happening because only so many people will continue to train at the frequency that they trained previously online. Let's say a client once trained with me 3 days a week, and I have 2 of them. Now I'm seeing them once or twice a week, and of course I'm giving them preferential pricing because it's not the same as being in person. So that is part of the difficulty. Even if you're able to retain your natural business, even if Raina is able to retain her constant membership at Studio Fit Chicago, even if Equinox has their students putting their memberships on hold so that they will have them back. They're not quitting the business. It's a lack of income across the board, big box or small. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of smaller studios, the largest segment of the fitness population to grow in the last 5 to 10 years by the hundreds and thousands of studios becoming the most vulnerable. And of course, their employees then becoming vulnerable. And that's what we've been seeing in New York a lot.
And because of everybody's thinking about this bailout or this assistance of financial aid, we don't even know if we're going to get any at all as independent contractors. Hence, we came to our PSA and public service announcement, not with solutions, just ask questions. If you're taking advantage of something, could you offer something? And if you're offering a service, could you suggest some ways that you get compensated for it? Because no profession that is allowed to work now is working for free.
Right. And people are literally begging for the opportunity to work. And we're trying to, like you said, increase our social following. And gratitude is beautiful, but gratitude doesn't put food on the table. It's a wonderful thing. A like is a like, but a like doesn't go in my bank account. Unfortunately, I wish they did. I would behave very differently in life. I would lose a lot of my integrity if likes put money in my bank account. So that's not the case. What we have to do is we have to support each other as much as we can, and we have to collaborate. We have to get into each other's split screen Instagram lives for short, free mood boosters. And then we have to find ways to bring our community together and be compensated for that time. And we have to not be afraid to say, this is my livelihood. I know you're in tough times too. So other people in other sectors and segments, restauranting and so forth, are also losing their positions, having their positions reduced. But in that meantime, can we help each other out as much as we can?
Correct, because we came up with our hashtag, thanks to Linda Shelton, fitness works, not fitness charity, not fitness free, not fitness loser, but fitness works. It works for you, but it's got to work for me because we haven't stopped working. What other industry was pretty seamless as we have been? All right, thank you for the check-in to New York. Thank you for sharing us with what you're drinking. Can you share with us some funny off-topic story, embarrassing moments, sarcastic saga of something in your fitness industry?
Sure.
Just one.
I'll get it really easy. It happened the other day. I now have a private OTT Vimeo channel. I now have my own little app that you can pop up for my live kickboxing workout, Shadow Do and Hitbox. And
how do we find that?
I gave it to Noel before, and the link is in my bio on my Facebook page. It lives there and in my Instagram. But I was testing it out the other day, and I got on early to make sure that there was a home screen. I figured out how to do full screen graphics to wait, and then a lower third. I was very proud of myself. And then I went out and turned my live on. And as I was turning my live on 15 minutes before, so people wouldn't show up to an empty black screen with a date on it, I hit the live, and then I hit the graphic that puts the full screen picture on. In the interim, everybody got a nice look at me in a towel for about 5 to 10 seconds. And furthermore, that's now archived on my channel. So anybody who subscribes will get to see me in a towel. Yeah.
Oh, that's such a great plug and a story at the same time. I haven't offered everybody else because everybody is shy. It was Sorry here in Puerto Rico who gave us a wonderful spiritual, inspirational song. And I know you know that I love, one of the reasons why I love your classes, besides being engaging and just enough intensity for me. But I love that you sing all your cues live. And if anybody's familiar with the musical Rent on Broadway, I've always said that Steve's next life, past life, future life, side life should be playing Roger. in Rent. Yeah. So can you give us something before we go? A bit of something, 30 seconds of something?
Singing nothing but baby songs all day. And
we'd love that.
So that's pretty much been my thing. But I've also been playing a lot of Bob Marley for my family and for my kids. So I'll just give you a little touch, even though the words are not necessarily true in this moment. They will be eventually. I would say, don't worry about a thing, because every little thing gonna be alright now. No, don't worry about a thing, because every little thing's gonna be alright now. How's that?
Thank you, Steve Feinberg, humanitarian, inventor, choreographer, business person, and most recently, Dad. Thank you for your time from the center of the universe, according to many, New York City. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, my mentor. I appreciate you, Lawrence.
Bye. 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 Hey, my friends, now that we've said goodbye to New York, I had to go to the bathroom. It's time, of course, after 9 o'clock to put on pajamas and let my wireless headsets recharge. I'm here to introduce now someone who is originally from Hawaii, who will be joining us now from Canada, telling us a lot about Canada. Her name is Joanna. Joanna, are you here? Are you ready? Can we bring you onto our screen and unmute your microphone and say welcome? Hi. Aloha. How are you? It's so wonderful. Did we lose? Did you turn off your lights? Are you having a blackout in Canada?
No. Can you still hear me?
Okay. We can hear you. That's wonderful. Maybe if you touch your screen, whatever that was, there was some time energy feature saver that went dark. If you move, maybe something. Did something happen? Oh my goodness. Well, we had Lita with visuals, and now we have you with auditory. And this is so great. All my fit campers are just hysterical, because one of the things we do at my fit camps in Puerto Rico, there you are, yes, is we spend a whole time just cueing with our hands and cueing with our mouth. Very much full of gratitude I am. Let me say 3 things. Oh
my gosh, I don't know what's going on.
It's okay. It's the phantasm of fitness work. Let me tell you 3 things I know about you. Number 1, you're from Hawaii. Number 2, you post these wonderful songs because you sing. And number 3, you have this whole program that's very cultural and very based on movement and very culturally tied as well. And thank you very much for being one of the very first people to jump on and saying, sure, you can interview me and we'll check in with Canada and I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Can you tell us, please, one of your favorite junk foods?
Naan bread.
What? Naan. Okay, that's so healthy. That is so funny. That is so
just
healthy.
Very well, so.
And what is one of your favorite songs? Because you sing all the time. I'm sure it's a challenging question, but.
No, one of my favorite songs, actually, Yuri and I were just talking about this, is Blessed We Are by Paya Bird.
Aww.
So yeah, it's such a beautiful song, and it's just about being grateful for our existence and our mission and how sacred our life is. So yeah.
Is there anything you're doing that you know consciously that's bringing your video back? Is it your
I'm going
screen
back
or
to my
power?
camera. I think that my camera on my laptop might be. I'm trying to get off my camera off my laptop, so I think that maybe that has something to do with
I
it.
see you now, which is good. I'm seeing you. Cool. That's wonderful. Okay, great. Where are you meeting us from? Tell us. Where are you tuning
From
in from?
my makeshift studio, aka my bedroom.
Wonderful. Where? Which country,
In
city, state?
north part of Toronto, in the burbs, in Canada.
Okay, wonderful. And what curfew legal situations, what are you legally allowed to and not do?
Well, social distancing is, of course, a thing, I guess, all over the world. We have to keep that 2 meters, 6 feet kind of thing between everybody. We don't have any curfews. Most of the stores are closed, and there goes the camera again. This is so weird. Yeah, most of the stores are closed. Most of the facilities, all facilities are closed. So basically, anything that's non-essential is closed right now.
So pretty much the same as New York and other places. What is your new normal? Tell me what a day is like for you now.
Well, I have the 3 children, the offspring. So they're 16, 13, and 6, and my mama.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of estrogen here. So oh my, there's so much estrogen. It's a lot. So we're just creative. We dance a lot. We sing a lot. We go on nature walks. That's still allowed because there's nobody here in the burbs. And we basically just get creative. I love music, so I decided to write music. So I wrote my first song the other day. And then just trying to find ways to connect with everybody is basically my thing right now. So
Okay, wonderful. And tell us, what is the state of fitness where you are? Or I guess Toronto is your closest major city. What's going on in fitness with all the clubs closed? What are you seeing people inventing and doing and connecting?
well, I've listened to all the other speakers, and it sounds like it's the same thing. All of us are trying to find creative ways to get connected with our clients. So lots of live streaming, lots of Zoom, interesting things going on, and trying to figure that world out. And lots of people are just posting little snippets of workouts and things like that, or going full on live stream, or just live Facebook lives, Instagram lives, and things like that. So I think it's just a sort of like a kaleidoscope of different things going on.
Great.
Yeah.
For those of us who want to follow you on Instagram and find out more about you and your program and your background and how it's part of what you teach and do and sing, how can we find and follow you? Your name is here. Is that how we find you on Facebook?
Yeah, so Kelani Dance is Instagram, and Facebook is Joanna Dimitri or Kelani, either or.
And Kelani is Kelani. Noel, can
yes,
you scroll that,
daughters, Keona and Leilani. So Keona means God's gracious gift. Leilani means heavenly flower. Together, it means of the heavens.
Wow, that's so beautiful. And you're presenting this year. Where, if everything goes through, where are you booked to
at the World
present?
Fitness Expo, yeah, I'm presenting something called The Hips Don't Lie.
I love that. That's at CanFit Pro in Toronto in August.
Yes, in August, yes.
Okay, great. We're putting your Kelani dance, right?
Thank you. Yes, that's exactly it.
Okay, phew, great. Thank you very much, Noel. Thank you for being part of this tonight. Would you like to share any story that's been funny or irreverent or something that's happened of embarrassing of the last years that you've been teaching with us?
Yeah, so this is not necessarily a fitness story as much as I was running an event with someone, and then we got up during intermission to perform, and I had my little sarong on. And as I was performing, I was like, oh, it's feeling really breezy over here. And I realized that my sarong was slowly falling down, and I didn't have anything underneath the sarong.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And I bet, were there men there? Were there like people like,
It was a
God.
club. It was a huge nightclub.
Okay. Well, there you go. My goodness. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that story with us. I'm gonna ask you to leave without a little ditty of a song because I know you can. Do you have anything prepared for us? Maybe a little.
Well, it's the song that I was talking about, and Yuri and I were talking about this as well. And it's "Blessed We Are." So I'm just gonna sing the first few lines because I want to give space to everybody else who's coming on afterwards. So the first few lines go. They go. Blessed we are to dance on this ground, to the rhythm of saints, to carry the sound. We hold a prayer for the earth, for the ones yet to come. May you walk in beauty and remember your song. That's all.
Thank you very much. How beautiful. And it was dramatic how your camera cut out at exactly the last note. That was
I planned it that way.
choreographed. I hope so. Thank you very much for joining us and giving us a little taste of what's going on the fitness litmus test, and as well as a preview of what you'll be doing at CamFit Pro, and for joining us as a professional representing our good neighbors in Canada. Thank you very much, Joanna.
Everyone around the world, thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll follow you and we will friend you. And that's definitely representing somebody who has a great program. And I love someone who keeps, like Kukua, very true to her African background. Ioana Kalani is very true to her Hawaiian backgrounds and brings those things, just like saying aloha at the very beginning. Our next guest is also going to stay in Canada, joining us all the way from Canada. And I want to say three things about her first. The first is that she is a humanitarian visionary because she's the first to create organizations for all humans involved in fitness. Simultaneously, the first one to put an organization just for women who are strong leaders who influence. Number two, she is the first person ever to invite me to open and keynote and close at an event that she's organized, never on the same year, thank God. No one needs ever that much of Lawrence at one time. And number three, as Hall of Fame person that I know by Ursa, and best-selling author and visionary of how to work the least amount of time and be the most productive, I invite to our Fitness Works Around the World check-in tonight, Maureen Hagen, Mo Hagen, who is just everything of CanFit Pro, everything of a presenter who is completely versatile, land, water, dry, lecture, physical therapist, tennis, golf, everything. Thank you for joining us tonight, Mo.
My pleasure. I'm happy to be with you.
I appreciate your support in all that we do. Can you tell us, please, what is one of your favorite junk foods that might not be on a traditional vegan nutritionist list?
Oh, definitely. Chocolate-covered jubes.
What are jubes?
They're kind of like chewy gumdrops covered in chocolate.
Yeah, is this a Canadian thing or is it like a universal? I don't know. Oh, wow.
Oh, I'm going to have to bring you some next time.
Or I'll buy
your
some
room.
at the CanFit Pro. Thank you. Gosh, we're going to remember that. I'm just so happy that CanFit Pro happens because we're all praying for our events to come back to normalcy as soon as possible. And what's one of your favorite songs?
Believe by Cher.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. And it's great for these times too. We'll believe that we're going to happen in Toronto in August. Yes, I like to start by inviting somebody to share something like a junk food and a song that we'll never read in your bio. Where are we finding you right now, geographically and in your space?
In my space, London, Ontario, which is where I live. Yeah.
Okay. And this is your
longest,
office?
I have to say, this is my home office, which I've been actually saying, so here's a lesson, Lawrence. I've been complaining how little time I've spent in my home office for the past year. And now I've spent more time, consecutive time in my home office this past 2 weeks than I've done in a year or two.
Well, lesson learned. And are you feeling productive and home and comfortable there?
I'm productive, you can say that, because I've worked harder in the last 2 weeks since March the 15th than I thought I'd ever worked before, because CamFit Pro is running as a corporation, even though all the fitness clubs are closed. And it's been the hardest 2 weeks to have vision for a company to keep it afloat so that it's stronger for everyone to come back to and the industry to count on after this is over. So while many people have time in their hands, I have very little time, although I have much more quality time with my husband in the evenings, because by the time the day is over, I'm emotionally tired. That's how tough the days have been, but they've been important days, and I'm very honored to still be working and supporting CamFit Pro.
Have you found some format for a typical day now in our new normal? What are you doing besides spending time in your office? Are you visiting your kitchen a lot? What are you doing?
You know what? I'm on calls all day long, so I've really utilized new technology, Microsoft Teams. I get up every day, I get dressed, I have breakfast, I do sit my butt in my chair at my desk, which is not normal for me because I have stand-up desks at my other office.
Right.
I take breaks throughout the day to go outside, and I try to move 3 times throughout the day, and then I go work out with my husband and walk in the evenings. So that's my new normal, and um, I hope my husband doesn't get sick of me, but I think I'm going to fall in love with working out with him more because we've been doing that for every day for 2 weeks now.
That's lovely. I've been watching Jeff Howard teaching all his classes and streaming everything, and he has his husband Mark in the back. Mark can't stop when Jeff comes to look at the comments and pretend he's walking around and breathing or taking water. Mark is doing everything. So
I see
good for
that.
you for having a workout buddy. Tell me,
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful that you're doing all that and keeping moving. And I've been following your posts on your Facebook, which is Move with Mo. And so
That's
you took a
right.
move of the day. What you did with a pair of dumbbells, hand weights, and your stairs in your house, one stair. It wasn't like walk up and down.
Yeah.
So creative. And you said, now here's what you do for the next 25 minutes.
Yep.
Just brilliant. You are such a visionary. Just good for you. So that's your
Well,
typical
I
day.
thought it was a way to stay connected with my community and to contribute. And really, for me, connection is therapy. So as much as I serve the world in that way, it's therapy for me as well.
Wonderful. Noelle, I'm going to change my headset. So can you, in a moment, I'm going to ask Mo a question. And while I change my headset, you can mute me, please. Mo, can you tell us what's the state of the industry right now where you are, which is Western Canada, right? Is that
Eastern.
correct?
I'm actually 2 hours west of Toronto.
2 hours west of Toronto. So you're not far from
So
Joanna, who
eastern
is in
half.
the
You're right.
suburbs. And tell us a little bit about what's going on there in terms of clubs and streaming and what's open and what you see fitness professionals, personal training, and Group X are doing.
I'll tell you. So to top off what Ilona said earlier, we do have only essential workers. All the fitness clubs, studios, boutiques, rec centers are closed. That has put personal trainers and group fitness instructors overnight out of work. It is known as a temporary layoff. So I want to give the industry optimism, because it's not that we've lost our jobs forever, but we are temporarily unemployed, which does open us the space and the time to rethink how we do what we do. So this is an opportunity, as much as it is very stressful because income is not coming in. I am part of that labor layoff, although I'm still grateful to work every day at CampFit Pro. We are encouraged to go outside. Yes, the beaches of Canada, and there are beaches in Canada, they are closed. Toronto beaches are closed. Out west, I believe it's the same in British Columbia. I don't know about Eastern Canada. But, we are encouraged to go outside and to move. We're not allowed to be in groups of over 5 unless you're a family. And that would be family that's been together since the isolation. If, I have family that aren't together, and they're encouraged not to come together, because if you have elders in your family, you don't want to expose them at any risk. So it is hard for families, especially if you have family that's living on their own. So it's really important to stay connected and use technology. And guess what? The old-fashioned way, like you and I have been since the day we met, pick up the phone, call people, tell them you're thinking of them. So that's one thing that's my new normal, is I reach out to somebody that perhaps I've worked with but is temporarily laid off every day. I reach out to a member of my family, and I reach out to someone that doesn't expect to hear from me. And every day I do that. And again, that's my way to contribute and help people know that they're not alone and that together we'll get through this. I can't hear you, Lawrence. Noel, is that myself or is that Lawrence? I can't hear you. So if you can hear me, can you hear me? Oh, you can hear me. I can't hear you. But that's okay. I have a poem to share. Would you like me to share my poem? I created a poem because I can only sing if it's your birthday. You wouldn't want to hear me sing otherwise. So here we go. I'm all about connection. So I wrote this weekend for Petra's Reimagine event. So I saved it for you. Why do we connect? Inside each of us is an inherent desire to belong. We exist in a world that thrives through compassion and unity. Fear and isolation cease to exist in a world filled with hope and belief. None of us are meant to walk alone. Life is a journey towards a deeper realization of who we are and why we exist. Everything in our universe is interconnected and we are all one. When we reach out and ignite the light in others, we spark the heavens with a profound intention. Look up and embrace the miracle of life. And this is why we connect. So I would like to take credit for that, but it's not mine. It's Jerry Visca. You've met Jerry, Canada's Y guy. So he wrote this and he allowed me to share it in my connection work. I can't hear you, but I love you. Okay, so I keep talking? Yes, I'll keep talking. 2 minutes. All right. Well, I can talk for longer than 2 minutes. So what I'm going to say to all of you that are listening to Lawrence and this great work that he is doing, please say yes. When someone invites you to step in to an opportunity like this, to take a risk and learn new technology, knowing that it doesn't always work perfectly. I have to say that, learning Be Live TV through Facebook was a bit of a stress for me this weekend, but I said yes, because this gives you the opportunity to learn. And when we learn, then it actually is a gift that we get. And through tough times, I want you all to believe that when you look back, you want to feel proud and you will feel proud of yourself for how you showed up every day. And we all have a choice how we show up.
Me back in the bottom.
Oh, you're back, Lawrence.
I'm listening to you tell us about how we need to show up because it's a great invitation and it's a great challenge. And your poem, you had me at the beginning. I thought you said you wrote something, but you got permission to share it.
I got permission to share it.
Who needs
I can't take credit. I just share the talents of all of us because together, we all get better and we all blossom. So my gift is connection. That's why I'm connecting with my community. For those who would like a 28-day connection challenge to find out more about yourself.
We've been putting your social media link here.
Yeah, go to my website. It's on the homepage on the menu bar, 28-day connection challenge. And there's 4 weeks, of course, in 28 days in a month. And we have a new month starting. And you can take that challenge. And I encourage you to do that because it gets you in touch with yourself, with the universe, with others, and with the community like you haven't really intended to do before. So while connection always takes attention, I'm inviting everyone to put intention behind that.
Oh, I love that. Okay, and it's for men and women, or it's just for the thing of women? Or okay.
Nope, for everybody.
Good. And it's also the main thing we land on when we go to your website, mohagan.com.
It's on my website, and you can print off the calendar. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's wonderful to do. Thank you for sharing that with us. Before I let you go, you did a prayer. You told us your junk food, which isn't really junk food. I think it's a necessity. Tell us about what are you finding? Lots of personal trainers and fitness instructors are online and doing the Zoom, or do you think a lot of people are still home and in shock, or do you think people are figuring it out and still finding revenue? What do you think is happening?
I would say all of the above, although the first and second probably are more accurate. More people are trying to jump online and have a presence through Zoom, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and I think that's great, but you want to be authentic. So if it's not your space, don't jump on for the sake of just feeling pressure to do so. Connect with your clients. My personal trainer has connected with me outside of the gym for all the years I've trained with him. He calls me, he touches base, he texts me, he checks in to see that I'm training every day. He gives me a new exercise. And then there are other trainers and instructors that are still trying to figure out what the hell is going on. So they are in part shock and part paralyzed to know what to do.
Right.
And I think as the
Right.
days and weeks go on, people will find their way. But I
Sure.
encourage them to stay connected. And then number 3, you know, I feel that if instructors and trainers and the whole industry takes this time to stop, to breathe, to think, and to reinvent themselves, they will come out of it with something new to move their business, their brand, and their personal happiness forward. We just have to keep working together to get through this because, even my greatest mentors tell me there's days they wake up and they have mini meltdowns, or as I call it, not
Sure.
so magnificent moments. I've had many of those this past 2 weeks. I've probably never cried so much in front of my peers than I have in the last couple of weeks, but that's being real, right?
And they get closer to you when you show your humanity,
Absolutely.
right? When you show that you are absolutely able to experience all these things and show these things instead of being a stone, right?
Exactly.
Good for you. I'm sorry that you cried, but I'm so happy that you were able to feel comfortable enough to do that in front of your staff. Even if you couldn't control it at the moment and you didn't run away, you let your tears flow
Yep.
because tears have
Yep.
cortisol and we release stress that way.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah, so true.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that wisdom with us. And do you think that in general, I know you have a huge connection and the largest chain of clubs in Canada is Good Life Clubs, right?
Yep.
They're all closed? Are there exceptions somewhere?
Nope. Every Good Life Fitness Club is closed, and all of the other sister companies, Fit for Less is closed. Oxygen Yoga and Fitness is closed. So that is a combination of about 500 locations across Canada in total.
And is there a policy of what instructors do, or is it up to them, or is there a portal in place? Like some companies, like I think Crunch has some portal where instructors can upload or stream workouts, etc.
Well, we're about to launch a really cool part of our new app at Good Life Fitness, actually Monday, the 16th of March. And we pulled it back down because it was an online booking for classes. And of course, there are none. Right. So within a span of a week, we flipped our vision and we've moved to taking our virtual classes and live stream them. So we've made virtual classes available to our members. We've actually chose as a company to stop the dues, but we are providing our members with services in the form of virtual classes. And then we also have our connection with Les Mills. So Les Mills On Demand is extending to everyone, Lawrence, not just a Good Life member, but anyone. Les Mills On Demand, free. I think it's for, I forget if it's a month or if it's a couple months. But there's a lot
That's
available
wonderful, Mo.
online. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that
and then
gets a lot of people
instructors.
Smart marketing, like Netflix. Your first month is free. HBO
Exactly.
gives you a week.
And we're seeing that with everything, right? Everybody's extending. I just saw on the music channel we watch, we listen to here in my home, they're extending a free month of karaoke. And I said to my husband, let's get it. He's like, no way. See, I told you I wasn't a good singer.
You are. You do anything.
Yeah,
You're
and
one
then
of
we're
those people
guiding.
who could do whatever you want.
We are guiding. If anybody is interested in learning more, I know that other countries are doing this. I know you're connected in the US with IDEA and ACE. They're giving out guidelines and supporting instructors and trainers. CamFit Pro is putting a lot out through our blogs. And we're uploading, as of tomorrow, brand new online training that people can take. So while they have time on their hands, they can actually take a course, get a certification, learn about becoming more techie with an online business, and there's still more to come. So connect with camfitpro.com and you'll see everything that we're helping to put available for instructors and trainers, as well as the business owners and operators.
Thank you. And it's also wonderful because you put out this great email just a few days ago, which said, sort of like IDEA and ACE, here are some things to consider. Here are some things to ask. Here are some things that you could do going forward. Good for the instructors for just taking up initiative of keeping their connection with people. I'm sorry about the classes, but I love how you said you flipped your vision, and then instead of charging people or having people sign up for classes, now they're virtually
taking classes online.
Stay connected.
And imagine after
Thank
this is
you.
over, how many people will have fallen in love with fitness classes, and I see a huge opportunity there.
Right. That's a huge a whole other online chat discussion workshop series. What's going to happen? Because I think when we go back, there'll be some PTSD. There'll be some people who didn't keep up their fitness, and level 1 is not level 1 anymore, and level 3, God knows what level 3 is. Did they really keep up that intensity or surpass us? Who knows? But it's not going to be the same world. It's not. Thank you very much for your presence, for giving us all your wisdom in the industry so we could connect to Canada and see how fitness works when we stay connected and not feel that we're just in isolation. Thank you,
Well,
Maureen
thank you for having Canada involved in all the work that you do.
Mo.
And I look forward to having you at CanFit Pro because we got a surprise for all your fans, Lawrence.
We do? Well, you and I have a surprise that I know about, not a surprise I don't know about. Okay.
No,
sure.
that's a
I don't
surprise.
really have any fans. I think Biscuit is my fan. There might be people
have,
who have to find something, but that's by default. It's not. Those days of fans. You have fans.
Oh yes, Lawrence, you're coming back to CanFit Pro. We can't wait, and you are going to be entertaining us in your own unique way, and everybody's going to have to come and see what that's all about.
Hashtag bucket of crazy. Okay, I get my whole 30 seconds. Thank you very much. Thanks, Mo. Thanks for being
Love you.
Thank you. Sunday night.
Bye.
Love you more. Bye.
Bye.
Industry icon full of wisdom, Maureen Hagan. Now we're going to go from Canada back to California, and we are going to put our finger on the pulse of what's really behind the scenes of everything that's going on. No pressure, Linda Shelton. And I'll tell you 3 things about Linda Shelton. She's the woman's name that you need to know and follow on Facebook because it's not a name you'll always see. But name any program, infomercial, commercial, successful icon like, I don't know, maybe not something called The Biggest Winner, but the biggest. Maybe there's a mastermind, someone who has to absolutely say what is sound and what is science-based. That's Linda Shelton, our next check-in. Number 2, she is one of the first people ever to say, I represent a company and I think you'd be really good as one of our trainers. That was Matt Science at AFA. And number 3, she's super, ooper, duper smart. Linda Shelton coming in from California. How are you?
Hi. So hi, Lawrence. Hi, everyone. So I have a 9-month-old puppy. So yes, I'm not doing the baby thing, but I am. He's been sleeping all day, and now he just ran in here. He's gonna jump up in. You want to come say hi to everybody, Jesse? Come on up.
Right.
He's so used to doing.
We saw what happened with your last dog, and we were. This is a puppy.
So this is Jesse, and because I spend so much time talking to my clients, he knows that say hi, Bubba. This is Jesse. He's 9 months old, and he's so used to doing this that he thinks that he should be a part of every party.
Of course, I had Biscuit up
He's
and down.
kept my sanity honest the last few weeks.
All of us need puppies. Tell me this: what is one of your favorite junk foods? Please share a junk food.
Oh, there's no question. It's Haagen-Dazs.
Okay, and
it's a combination of vanilla and coffee combined. And if I want to be really crazy, I take dark chocolate bark with almonds and sprinkle it on top.
God forbid. What's the wild side look like if that's wild? Okay, and what's one of your favorite songs of all time?
Well, I have to tell you what's really funny is because Mo actually said what mine was, which is Believe by Cher. But my best favorite one for anybody who's old school is Last Dance by Donna Summer.
How
because it makes you want to dance.
It makes does.
You know, it's like
we were there.
Like in times like this, you know what you do, what you got to do, and you find a song that just makes you want to dance. Forget the exercise part, just like, you know, blast it and move, right? And it's a happy song, you know, and it goes back to my early days of fitness when it was #1. And so in the clubs, guess what we'd played? Last Dance and dance.
Sure. And we would go crazy. we'd go
And we
crazy
did.
on an LP record to Jane Fonda.
Over and
you
over
were there
again.
because you wrote the program. Tell me this. Tell me, where are you? You're in.
I'm in my office where the magic happens.
In which
So I live in
city?
Thousand Oaks, California. So Thousand Oaks is about 50 miles northwest of Los Angeles. So as the crow flies, if anybody knows LA, if you go to Malibu and go directly 22 miles inland in the hills, that's where I live.
Okay, and you're in your home office and you're spending a lot of time there now because what is your new
Yeah,
normal? What's
I'm
a typical
very
day?
okay. Now he wants to play with his Lammy. Jesse, mommy's got to do a call. Figures. I am very sequestered. So the good news for me is that I'm out of LA, which is we're locked down. I'm locked down too. 2 weeks ago we had no cases here. You know, I live in Ventura County. I didn't even live in LA County. We had no cases. So obviously we still were stay at home, and partly because of my age, do I even say it that way? I couldn't believe today on the news they were talking about 60 being elderly. I'm going, if 60 is elderly, what the hell am I now, right?
Right.
So
well, when you get 60,
I had a big
you'll
birthday
tell
a
us.
week ago today, right? I did last weekend.
I wish you happy birthday on
I know you did, and I had a big celebration plan. I'm planning for a year about turning the big 7-0. I know I'm practicing saying 70, right? And
really, wow.
I've been teaching.
Okay.
I've been teaching 51 years. Yes.
I know you have.
But anyway,
Just
so we
such a
did a Zoomer cocktail party. So I got online with my friends and we toasted. But in any case, you know, I am by age alone. Forget anything else. Not a lot.
You can go groceries, right?
I can go get. I don't go anymore. I can't. And the reason is because in 2 weeks we've gone from no cases to 100. And as you know, I'm immunocompromised. Last year I had. I got fungal pneumonia. I left Ursa very sick and valley fever from the fires. So I spent last year pretty sick. And so my lungs are still healing and I cannot go. So I have friends now going to the market for me. As of this week, I'm not out. Where I live is I could walk for an hour and not see a soul. So it's great.
Right.
So yeah, I take Jesse out a couple times a day, but I'm no longer going to the store as of this week. But it's safer than LA, so I felt safe because there wasn't the cases. But LA, like everyone else, we've all talked about it, is locked down. You know, they shut the clubs, they shut, you know, you can't get a haircut, you can't get your nails done. Stores are open, but they're putting you, it's no longer 6 feet away where I live because there's a lot of people over 60 here. It's now 10 feet. Okay. And the other morning, the last time I went to the store, I decided to take advantage of gee, if you're over 65, you can go to the store in the morning. So at 7 a.m., I go to a store. The line at 7 was probably, there was about at least 50 people ahead of me. And there was a very nice girl with coffee in the parking lot going, what are you guys all looking for? And of course, someone had to ask them, where's the TP? And she goes, oh, you know, all the stores are only getting like 20 rolls. And I thought, why am I standing here? And I went home. I thought, it's 7 in the morning. It's really cold in California. We're having a delayed winter, not spring. And I thought, I'm not going to stand here and I shouldn't be here in this line. And I left.
Smart.
And I had a friend
You're taking care of
and
yourself.
went to the store. So, you know, I think here's what our industry does really well. And I think by nature, we're a really positive people. It's very scary. Never seen anything like this in my lifetime. Obviously, you know, Vietnam was, you know, all those years ago was scary. Other things have been scary. You know, 9/11 was scary. This is different. It's really different. But I will say our industry, we know how to make lemonade out of lemons, and we do. And everybody, I think, in the industry basically jumped in their way, you know, and yes,
Right. But
intensive
because you're a
classes,
mastermind and you're behind the scenes and you're privy to everything, I have you last, penultimate tonight, or in this morning in Asia, because without giving names and secrets, because you're so in demand for what to do, is you're booming because the businesses are
I've
calling
had
you
a
and the
lot of
independents
calls this
are
week.
calling
It
you.
surprised me.
What are you able to tell us to keep aware of or think about, or, you know, I know you're Zooming your classes, but also think of this, or companies are also going to want that. Do you have any wisdom you could share with anybody watching from any side, even who just takes classes online, that you were very instrumental in our hashtag Fitness Works came from you. You're very supportive of our PSA from the beginning. You helped us in our script. I'm very grateful to you from the beginning, from just seeing me, as I said in my shout out on Facebook, around the time of your birthday and when you lost your dog and you replaced your dog. What wisdom can you share with us without throwing out names?
Yeah, I don't have to throw out names at all, but here's what I do when I do. First of all, I want to applaud all of my colleagues who've said some very fabulous things with you tonight, and yourself as well. Here's the deal, and you know, it's a blessing and a curse. You know, when you think far ahead, like I do, one of the reasons I get hired is because usually when I see a client, they've got an idea of what they want, and then I always ask them, well, after you do that, what else is there? Because you don't want to recreate what you just recreated and have you spend money you didn't want to spend when you didn't think about them in the first place. So I'm always the round peg in a room full of square holes who is always thinking, yeah, you too. There's a lot of us, we're all really squiggly, right? But I happen to be one of those. So one of the first things that has come to my mind,
There's nothing straight about me. Yeah.
Me neither. Well, there is, but that too. I am fully straight, but that's about the only thing. But what I was going to say is, I even said it to the group when we all met about the PSA. I said, look, you know, everybody's putting a Band-Aid on things. We're making lemonade, but when lemonade is over, you have to think about what is your next step in this business? You know, I'm not teaching much anymore. I had to stop last year when I got sick. I'm still doing a lot of programming, so I'm up to my eyeballs in manuals of programs that we're launching that we're kind of reconfiguring now. So I think what I can tell anyone is take this as a lesson. I mean, I've stayed home to percolate. I've talked to people that I know. When you look at what's happening on Facebook now, on people having to launch online, we can't ignore the fact that as an industry, if you're a techno-nut like I am, even though, I mean, I do production, but I rely on my crew. Now I have to learn a whole new ballgame. And we have to do two things. One, we need to become technically savvy. Number two is we need to consider ourselves a business. Now I have a business, you have a business, but not everybody does. So you are now a personal trainer or Group X person who's put yourself online. You need a business name. You need to get your business license. You need to find out what works for you as a business so you can actually continue doing business as you, regardless of the club, because here's what's happened. And I'm the biggest supporter of the clubs and all this, but everyone who's been laid off, 80 to 90% who work in a club, aren't saying to teachers, oh, by the way, they're still paying their membership. Let's have you teach for us and we can still pay you. There's a few doing that. Everybody else was left on their own to figure it out. It's not going through the clubs. Or if they did shoot online. So for example, about 5 years ago, I shot my LT for Lifetime. I shot 85 workouts. So their members are doing those. And anybody else, Equinox pulled it together, Alex pulled it together for Sequential. But the bottom line is you've got an entire industry going, oh my God, I gave my all to a club, and now I'm left on my own to figure it out. So my biggest piece of advice is become a business. You become a business, whatever that is. I mean, I've owned professional fitness services, which is how everybody knows me in business, since 1980. I have a website by my name. I agree with Petra Colbert. It's lindashelton.com. I had to wait 8 years to buy it because somebody sat on my name. That's a whole other logic. But my suggestion is do what you need to do now as a Band-Aid, but don't sit here and get so ingrained and lost in the Band-Aid and the lemonade that you're drowning amongst the ice cubes because you didn't put raspberries in there. Figure out when this is all over, where are you? And what have you learned about exercise between having to do it in a way without the connection? Because one of the biggest things I hear from Group X teachers all the time, having taught Group X myself for 40 years plus, is that if I don't have a full class, I've lost energy. Well, guess what you're doing now? You're doing what you never learned how to do, which is teach to a little black hole and give everyone energy. And from doing production for so long and trying to train talent for online, you've got people who innately are amazing in front of the camera. And then I also know I've spent years teaching people how to do that. So become savvy at being in front of the camera. Like you need to make it up to the little black hole. You do.
Thank you. Thank you
Does
for
that
that
help?
wisdom. I'm sure people are just going to say, yes, I'm a business, and now where do I go? And the short answer is you find a mentor that you can afford, that you trust, and you work out something where no one should ask for anything for free and no one should give for free. That you take your icons in fitness, you take your names in fitness, or people in your neighborhood who are successful, and you say, what can we work out because I need to grow and become a business like you? You can't always just go to Harvard and say, I need business 101 for fitness professionals, because no one's going to have that time, energy, effort, and money. But
No
you
one
are so
offers it
right.
really. In the industry, we offer it, but I think we have to have a different POV, a different point of view, not only about ourselves, but about the unification of an industry that we all love. I love what we do. You know,
Hence our
I
PSA.
specialized in a different direction. I mean, I write educational programs. I help people launch. I do all of those things and I have for decades, right? And I still love it. Do I still love teaching class? Yeah, I do. You know, but we have to understand that at a certain point, and what I hear a lot is particularly teachers over 45. Okay, and I never got injured teaching because you know, I'm a form freak, you know that, right? Execution is everything. And so I never got hurt. I mean, falling down the stairs, yes, but not teaching. Okay. But yeah.
Right.
But what I was going to say is that we have teachers who have gotten to a point they're going, oh my God, I want to teach. This is all I know. And now where am I in the industry? And you need to think about, I know I've had to make the shift. You know, it's like, you know, 50 plus, you know, what is that business? I honestly, Lawrence, you know, people say to me, but you're still exercising, you're still fit. I go, I don't care if I never knew a burpee again in my life. You know why? Because one day after I turned like 60 something, 65, 66, my body went, nope, I can still jog. I still jog. I still run with him. I can still get my knees up. My body doesn't want to move. Like that has nothing to do with my fitness level. It really doesn't want to. So one of the lessons I've learned now about being older is things happen and you don't expect it. And you either can find another path in a way that supports your love and what you want to do. I'm not ready to retire yet. And I think there's a lot of us that aren't. But you've got to look at outside of, you know, what can I add? What is my value? Teachers have been teaching a long time. What is my value? And for those of you that are really new, what is your value too? Like what is your legacy? Like, where do you want to end up? You know, when this is done, and what can you offer to people that they're not getting somewhere else? It's like, what is your differentiator? You should know what your passion is, and you should know what your differentiator is. And I say that to my clients all the time.
Right.
And we as individuals who collectively work together, you know, you and I are different, Petra and I are different, Mo and I are different. We have collective things that we all agree on and come together with as an industry. And then there's things where I stand alone, and I've learned to, number one, respect that about myself, and I've learned to own it. Like it took me decades, don't wait decades. It took me decades to finally say, this is why I'm different and what I can bring to you.
I'm going to take
But
also
everybody
that I
has
don't
the same
have to
ability.
do a burpee.
No, without the burpee. But everyone's got that same ability, you know?
Right. Thank you.
And we should, and we need to
Thank you very
know.
much for those wisdom, because what I love that you're giving us is very practical stuff, not just figure it out. Very practical things. What is your differentiator? I call it the USP. What's your unique selling point? Because the squat's
It
a
is.
squat.
What is your USP?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your wisdom tonight from California, with your social media here for us to follow. Thank you very much. And I appreciate the wonderful wisdom you brought to our the present of your presence.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me. I really appreciate it.
Are you kidding? I had to finish with you because you know everything from the back, and the bones are where the bones are buried, because you're the science behind it. We've had group fitness. Now we're going to finish back to, we're going to go to personal training. So bye.
Okay. Much love. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Much love.
Bye.
Our last and final check-in for Fitness Works Around the World check-in tonight is 3 things, not on a bio. Number 1, humanitarian who, when winning IDEA Personal Trainer of the Year, thanked the most wonderful people in his life, his family, in the most humble of ways. It wasn't ass-kissing companies who may have sponsored or may who want to sponsor. It was so authentic. Number 2, that in addition to being current instructor of the year personal trainer of IDEA, is not only humanitarian, but really in demand. And when conventions weren't going on, he was the one who said yes, and we can work something out, and I'll do what it takes to travel even when it wasn't so successful, IDEA PT. And number 3, Michael Piercy, who we're going to bring on screen now, is also a really down-to-earth person. And for the awards and all the stuff you'll read on his bio, you might not think that this is somebody we can relate to. Hi, good evening. Thank you for joining us, personal trainer of the year. And your story is so emotional. We've got video, we've got audio. You're joining us. Thank you very much. Before we even talk about everything, every guest, I'm trying to say something human and connecting to which is, what's your favorite junk food?
Wow.
That you might not have a vegetarian approve of or something. I don't know. Have you eaten any stressful, wonderful, just food that you'll admit to?
Wow, that's funny. Can you hear me with the AirPods in? Okay, good.
Perfect.
Well, the funny thing is, like, growing up in my house, we didn't have any healthy food, right? We had a table full of sweets. My mother's a sweets person, so it always was like devil dog, Hostess cupcakes, Entenmann's, which I don't know if people know Entenmann's, but the factory was like right around the corner. So it's like with my dad, the first time I used to eat healthy food, he's like, "You're probably gonna be in the bed for a week because you haven't eaten any healthy food ever. Your body's gonna react." So I'm like, I probably love Sour Patch Kids. If I'm like on the road or somewhere and I go into like a 7-Eleven, I grab some like sour candy or something like that. That's not something
You had me at 7-Eleven, not even whatever we're going to say after that. Good for you. And what's one of your favorite songs, Michael?
Oh man, my favorite song of all time is Prince, Adore. If you ever get that's like, yeah, it's like Prince at his best. So Prince is my all-time favorite artist, all-time favorite role model for work ethic, and the guy just loved what he did, and that's it. Adore. That's my favorite song ever.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. And where are we finding you? You are in what part of the world and what part of your house?
I am in New Jersey. I'm just in my house in my I like to say makeshift home office, which is half living room, half everything else. But just sitting at the desk, happy to talk to a friend from across the world, right? You had all these awesome people on here right now, so I got all the pressures on me right now.
No pressure. You always finish strong, and I got it. What's going on in Jersey? We heard from Steve Feinberg in New York City. I'm not sure that we're referring to New Jersey as the epicenter as well of growing cases, but tell us what's going on in terms of this worldwide virus pandemic and what you're allowed and not allowed to do as a community.
Well, it is kind of, because if you think about New York and New Jersey as kindred spirits, right? At the size of you're going to have 50,000 cases as of today in New York, probably 30,000 of those are probably in New York City. And then New Jersey is the second in the world or second at least in the United States with 1,300 today. So it's one of those things where we're on a shutdown order. And it has to be the same, because if you're in New York, for me, growing up my whole life, I've always been 15 minutes away from driving over the bridge. So whatever New York is doing right now, you have to really, New Jersey's got to kind of share in that, because usually in New York, right, people got the summer homes in New Jersey. So as soon as they say shut down, everybody drives down to the shore. And, you know, they're trying to get a hold on everything. And it's a little bit tough. You know, the businesses are closed. So same type of order. Fitness industry for us it's tough when you think about it, but I think as a whole, for us, we have to really be empathetic in the fact that we're all going through this together, right? It's not something we've ever been through in life, and we're trying to navigate it in people's businesses, and their daily life is disrupted, and right now we're all just trying to make it and figure out what day to day things are going to look like,
Right. Tell me, are you training clients? You said this is your makeshift half dining room and office, and we're all, I think, repositioning. This background has never been here before. And all of a sudden now it's my new normal, and my dog is here and I'm here, and it's part of something that I'm not going to move for a while. And I think that if you saw behind the screen, you'd understand why. Pay no attention to the man behind the screen, because there ain't no man behind the screen. Anyway, well, are you still working? What are you doing?
I am. You know what? It's what do they say?
Zooming
Never
your
waste a good.
clients who want to see what you look like on camera?
Yeah. Hopefully they're like, oh no, I got to see this guy at 6 in the morning. No way. They
Good
say,
for
what
you.
do they say? Never waste a good crisis, right? So it's a
Right.
chance for us to repivot and find a way. For me, I had always done online training, but I had not done it in the Zoom fashion and things like that. And from a group standpoint, it was how can we try to find value for the clients that I have. So to be honest with you, and I'll be very steadfastly honest, I was against doing the Zoom thing because I didn't think it was sustainable. But
right.
you know, after the first couple of jumping on, I realized after with the comments from a lot of the people that I have regular in my group classes, not just the personal training, it said it gave them a sense of normalcy, right? It's not the exercise so much as me talking junk to them and, you know, saying,
Talking
hey,
junk.
look at that rug. Look at that shag rug you got in your house, you know, and take me to your refrigerator and stuff like that. So
The
you
implications
know,
are incredible. Go, let's have a contest today. You all open your refrigerator and let's detox. Good for you.
Yeah. Like,
and now how do you feel about it?
You know what? I think that we're going to emerge from this stronger than ever. And I do believe that because that's in our DNA, right? And as long as we stick to it together and we stay united in what we're, you know, it's always darkest before the dawn, right? So it's like when you look at this thing and the way that we are affected by it, I think that we will emerge, especially for us fitness industry people, and with an industry that we don't quite recognize. And I think that'll be different. And in a lot of ways, that's good, you know, because it forces us to be better. It forces us to change. For me, I think that I was against it, but then I said, hey, this will open up a new pathway. Because what if I wanted to take a Lawrence's class, you know, across the world, and I never had a chance to do so. Now, because you're doing something on Zoom, I can jump on and I can, you know, be like, hey, I can take class with my friend, you know, and this is great. And we're not separated by some things that I think that it's different. I worry a little bit about the social ramifications of it, though, because I think that we're conditioning ourselves in some ways to not ever have human contact because social media has become such a big draw, you know, and we're upfront, you know, when I think about this, and we mentioned PTI, right? And I was just at PTI a couple weeks ago. And I remember this almost was like a little bit of a joke, right? And it was like, yeah, you're going to get corona if you slap high fives and stuff. And then just out of nowhere, it got serious, where it was like cases and this thing is spreading. We got to flatten the curve. We got to do everything. And it's just that fast that I think that like things can change and get better at the same rate and at the same speed. Exactly, that snap. And I wouldn't say back to normal because I don't think we'll really know what the new normal will be until we're done. But I think that's good because you're in an industry where it's been kind of status quo a little bit. And I think that if we look at it, it's how you see the world, right? That determines what you see. And I think that that's the biggest thing
Thank
about
you.
it. You know, I hope.
Oh, I'm so validated by putting you last. I'm so glad. You're so good on camera. You're so wise. I'm so glad that you expanding your hashtag rising star. That's neat.
I don't know about that.
You're going to go to Asia Fit conference in Bangkok, Thailand this year. That's worked
Thanks
out.
for having,
you're going to be taking your talents and I'm so excited for them to see your energy and love and light and wisdom and freshness and just wisdom, because it's so great to move and it's so great to cue movement, to be so wise at whatever years you have. Good for you and God bless. You know, I think that you've been in the industry for longer than people might know because you put in a lot of time. You don't just win overnight an award of the prestige that you want a whim. Can you tell us one funny or embarrassing story that's happened over the years that you might want to share with us?
Funny and embarrassing. Wow. You know
or
what?
It doesn't have to be funny. It doesn't have to be embarrassing.
No.
Humor is so relative. People laugh at me all the time, and I'm being serious. But
I think this is funny because I told this one to some friends, and you guys are always
you have
been.
Friends? You have friends?
Well,
wait. You have friends?
You can't get on a great show like this without friends. You got to have some friends in some high places.
No.
So the thing is, I always
great minds run in the same gutter. That's what I say. Go ahead.
You might be right. So the thing is, I'm so fortunate, and I think it's great to be at all the conferences because I get a chance to be around all you guys. And for years, I've been watching everybody present, and I still go to all the presentations because I gain so much learning from all you guys. But one person I always watched so many years, even when I was working on a big box, was Lynn Kravitz. So Lynn Kravitz is one of my favorite presenters, and he's also one of my favorite human beings, and because he's just comfortable being him, and I like that about people. When you're comfortable being you, it's great, you know. So for years and years, I've been watching him, and then I was at PTI, and the funny thing is, I walked by him, and he says, "Mr. Piercy, what's going on? How you doing?" I'm like, "Lynn Kravitz, I'm like, he knows who I am, huh?" So I walk up to him and I get ready to shake his hand, and it's like the whole coronavirus thing, right? And he's like, no, we got to go elbows. And I'm like, the first time Lynn Kravitz we're talking and you're going to give me an elbow? I'm like, I feel like giving him a hug. But no, this is, so it's a funny story because it shows you like, Corona's kind of crazy.
Sure.
But hey, he was ahead of his time. He was smart there. He's like, hey, I'm not.
He was smart then. And that was I think that was the last international fitness event, although it was, I don't know how international it was, that actually was able to go and push through and not cancel.
And it went well. Good energy, but no incidents or anything like that. But like I said, it was
your classes were packed, man. You were posting and you had that room going. I said I want his job. He's personal training, walking around, and these women are sweating like they're in the equator, and he's just giving them energy and talking what to do. And now with online training, unless you got somebody to move for you, you got to do all that. So it's like, wow. Where is that cueing and coaching now? You got to do the whole workout because they're trying to check your form. You can't say follow her in the front row because you don't got a front row anymore. So our industry has completely changed. That's a great story about Len Kravitz. A story I had with Len Kravitz, not that anybody's asked me for a story. I'll just say that we have been roommates at a convention. The only presenter I've roomed with in the last century, and we roomed every time there was a convention in New York called ECA, World Fitness on Broadway, and we would be seen coming out of elevators, going down the hall together into the same room together at night, in the mornings coming out there, going for our coffee, in the mornings of coming out of the same room, going down the hall. And it was so funny how the stories would go and go and go. And I thought they were the best stories. People would tell these stories and I would say, did you hear that? And he'd say, yes. And I'd say, yes. I'd be like so proud. And then on the last day of one convention, the last year we were co-presenting and rooming together at ECA, his girlfriend was there and she was there in the front room, in the front row. Everyone was like, they're just saying that. That's their story. Oh my goodness. It's so funny. Total wonderful humanitarian and wonderful guy and total.
And you both are amazing. You both are amazing. Seriously, I see you walking down the street, and where were we at Club Industry? I'm like, that's Lawrence.
Chicago.
Yep, Chicago. I'm like, I got to track him down real quick.
I was in the middle of the street with Biscuit, and the light changed, and then I went back and I had to call you and say, I didn't run back to you because I didn't want to get run over, and I didn't want you to think I was being. Yeah, thank you for remembering.
No,
that was very sweet.
You were great. You were like, I gotta go.
Thank you for that story. Do you have to finish because you're the last one, and I haven't asked anybody this in transition because you're not transitioning. You're concluding. Do you have any little last word or credo or thought to give to anybody? Not a prayer, you're on the spot, but is there anything you tell yourself at the end of each day or right now lately that you just want to share that you haven't gotten to say yet?
You know what? I think that for us, in a lot of ways, I think it's easy. It's a tough process for everybody, and I think it's tough because we're so used to. We thrive on physical contact. We thrive on physical energy. We thrive on all these things, and I think that right now it can be tough for for a lot of people, and us included, right? Because it's change. Change is never great for never a great thing for everybody to adjust to, right? It's the toughest thing, but I think that if we embrace this, if we stick together, I think that when we come out on the other side, I think we're going to be looking at some of the best events ever because now there's a level of appreciation for everything. And that comes with, for me, I'd be remiss if I didn't say I was a strong spiritual believer, but you know, it's not over. You know, if God's in it, it's never over. So it's having faith.
I agree.
And, you know, knowing that, and for us, that's it. To stick together, keep doing things like this, and keep, and don't go silent. You know, we
Good for
we
you.
got to be in the house, and that's it.
Thank you. Thank you for mentioning your faith, because I don't think it's a time, if people have beliefs, to say what they are. I don't care who you voted for or what you believe. I just think if you have a belief, isn't it nice to be able to say it and know that someone will even agree to disagree with you, but still know that that person understands that humanity transcends even an opinion. And so thank you for your belief. I know that there's a lot of talk about faith now, and I believe you've heard this saying, fake it till you make it, it will all be okay. I say faith it until you make it, because it's our faith that's going to pull us through.
Yeah, and that's
on
it.
those
Don't
notes, thank you very much for joining us. We've been flashing here how we can stay in contact with you.
Thank you.
We're friends on Facebook, but I just got your Instagram, so I have to make sure I turn on my notifications for you on Instagram, because I follow you on Insta, but I don't have your
I'll make sure I follow you too.
Pop up. Thank you very much. God bless. Thank you for joining us tonight, and for the wonderful present of your wisdom that you share with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an honor. I'm serious.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I appreciate
Fitness
your friendship
works.
as well. Thank you. Fitness works.
Thank you, Michael.
All right.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank you, Michael. Bye. Thank you all for giving me your presence and for listening to this wisdom from around the world. As much as I can, I'm going to keep and save and make available to you for learning, viewing, edification, sharing purposes, for no other reasons. Remember that we've come up with a PSA, or a public service announcement, that is #FitnessWorks, only because fitness works to make the world a better place, and fitness works for money. Fitness works not for free. With love in my heart and a firm commitment to do what I can to cross borders and cross countries and cross continents, just so no one feels alone or is really wondering, where are my groceries going to come from? Because I'm one of those gyms that said no personal training, that said no classes. I'm at home. I don't even have a Facebook account, and I don't know how to figure it out. That to me is scary, and it is a reality, because I get the emails from friends of these people that reach out. If you know of anyone that has a story, or a story we should know, and a suggestion of how to handle it, I'm happy to get involved on anyone's behalf. Fitness works at findlawrence.com, and we will move forward. If you are a practitioner taking any classes or training, make sure you just ask, how can I contribute to your well-being? And if you're offering, remember, no one offers a career. A career is a job, and we do our job because our job career has chosen us. But we do it to put food in our fridge, whether it's chocolate chip mint, Oreo, Haagen-Dazs, or Juju beans I've learned about, or any of these wonderful things I'm going to investigate in coming days as far as what's available in Puerto Rico or not. I just thank you to each of you who have been part of the PSA and who have checked in with us from around the world. We had Italy, California, Singapore, Thailand, Philippines, United States, and then New York. They're not exactly the same thing. Jersey, thank you, Michael Piercy, and California. And of course, all of this techno genius wizardry run by my dear friend and colleague, Noelle, presenter, fitness idol, author, entrepreneur. Can you come back on screen, Noelle, so we can see what you look like? You're in your day. I'm ready for bed. Thank you for joining us. You still look fresh. What time is it there in Malaysia? I can't hear you. Can you unmute yourself, Techno Wizard? Oh, yeah, I saw that. Oh, yeah, it's so funny. Yeah.
It's 10:15 a.m.
Okay, wonderful. Well, guess what? Pajamas, gonna get cut ready for cuddles with biscuit and no dinner. I'm gonna continue my intermittent fasting, because if you haven't eaten by 10 whatever p.m. Thank you very much for joining. Kimberly is still on and with us. And what are you eating? You can share.
Acai bowl. Acai bowl.
Acai bowl, that's healthy. I don't even care about it. To all of you who are watching, thank you for your comments. I'm going to look on Facebook now and see comments because I can't be doing that distracted thing. Thank you, Noelle, for the gift of your incredible wizardry to make this connection happen. And my purpose was to say we have a PSA. It's on my YouTube channel. It's also on my Dropbox. I can get it to you. You don't need to share from my YouTube channel. I just hope that people in fitness, whether they take or they move or they get paid or they personal train or they manage, just have questions, know fitnessworks@findlawrence.com is an email, and we all have a responsibility, at least to know who's under lockdown and who's not. And so far tonight, more freedom in Asia than we've seen in the West, and lots of great ideas from Linda Shelton and Mo Hagan, and people who have been giving us really sound, practical advice of what to do. The most important answer is the answer that works for us. I hope to do an around the world check-in again if I find the comments that we actually had anyone check on and sign on and look at all. It may well be that we will never meet again as this group on these time zones in this lifetime. So let me say before we part that so much of me moving forward will be what I have shared with you, and I will move forward and take you with me like a handprint on my heart. And whatever way individually through all of this our stories end, please know that you have rewritten mine by being my friend. Thank you for the presence you've given us by listening, joining, watching. Remember, when we practice physical distancing, it's a necessity. We do it out of love, not out of fear. But social connection is a bigger necessity, which consequently means I'm not a fan of the term created that so many people follow, social distancing. We're now more social in our career than ever. We practice physical distancing and social connection. Peace out.